Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the land of dreams and nightmares. Things are a little bit crazy now, but we continue. We press forward bravely into those mysterious mists of the unknown, and we will confront the dangers that are out there. Let's introduce everyone and then jump in.
All right, so alphabetically first, I'm Adam with the A name, and as always, I am playing the mostly noble, often foibled, bard, paladin, multi-class hybrid, Carderock Harkness, the Knight Errant.
Hey guys, my name is Dennis, and as always, I'm playing the ever cynical Lykar Talvantis, a level 11 Storm Sorcerer.
Hello, I am Nick. I'm playing the wizard Arlen, level 10 at the moment. So,
I am Vince, and I am playing Drake Phil, the Shadow Monk Cleric.
And I'm Warsor, and I'm playing Captain Noxiqual, the human Hexblade Warlock, level 11.
And I'm Esper, your humble, generous, and most merciful dungeon master, who definitely does not have any plans on killing or driving insane any character during this session here tonight.
we have different definitions of merciful.
Define your definition of merciful.
If there must be a killing, it will be swift with a nice, sharp, clean blade. No tangling with rusted goblin chains. We are at the Silver Citadel, everyone. After many sessions, months, years, even technically 2 years of whispers and rumors and legends and talking about this location, the party has decided to go there. You all have made your way there. Noxiqual and Lykar, about half dead from sleep deprivation, but you did make it. And the rest of the party following shortly behind. So here we are in the Touring Mountains, just north of Mount Drecken, namesake of the realm, by the way, is the Silver Citadel. Up the grand staircase cut into the slope to a double concentric ringed stronghold with a great silvery spire reaching up into the lower clouds, and the top portion of which ripples with an iridescent lightning. Before entering Lykar, the face in the clouds appeared to you once more, Talvantis, the storm titan of old, whose magic flows through your blood. And he again spoke of not trusting the silver mages, considering he considers them to be the enemy. Well, you might still consider them to be the enemy, or maybe an uneasy truce, as at the end of the Great War of Three Dooms, when the Silver Citadel defeated the Mer Queen, essentially defeated her. It was rumored that your grandfather, Mercurio Talvantis, betrayed the Silver Citadel and did not deliver the killing blow. And so the best that the mages could do was to combine high-powered spells and bind her in an indefinite slumber state. And then the Silver Citadel mages proceeded to not only slay Mercurio, your grandfather, but then go and hunt and track down all members of your family that all share the blood of this storm titan. You being the last, or are there just a few remaining Talvantis family members?
Yeah, I think there's a couple lesser without any of the magical powers.
Mm-hmm. Nothing major has awakened in them yet.
Right. Yeah, most of them use aliases, and some, I guess, of the younger generations may not even know that they are actually from that line there.
So the few remnants of your bloodline have been in hiding for a couple generations. But you most clearly have quite a connection to this storm power. And you gave your word to the Silver Citadel. You gave your word specifically to Dorian Keldon, Archmage of Divination, that you would bury the hatchet, you would ally with the Silver Citadel and with all the other major factions of civilization to confront the greater foe, which is Amarantha, the Mer Queen, and this Pax Marta, maybe her general, and the other, and the undead army that has been plaguing and racking the land for decades now. So here we all are. You each have been given a small personal quarters within the actual main tower of the Silver Citadel. You are on the second floor of the tower, of which there are 10 stories total. Each of your private quarters it's very small, just a little cabin that just has a bed, a small table, chamber pot if needed, a little wardrobe, a little cabinet, just a nothing that is exquisite or you wouldn't call it a suite, but it is, it's clean, it's well maintained. There are servants here. So it is, let's see, you guys tell me, would you rather we just start literally where we left off, where Noxiqual and Lykar are just passed out exhausted, and so the rest of you will get like the night to mingle around, or do you want to go just start with the next day and everyone's awake?
I know that I had a few things I wanted to do, but I don't know if the
The only thing would be to see if Drake could get his cloak of displacement instead of having to go back to that town.
Mm-hmm. Yes, they're going to be speaking with you tomorrow about the order that was placed by Caitlin Weirman for the magic items.
Okay, well
And
then,
then the following day is going to be the high table. There's already a number of guests have arrived. So currently Silver Citadel is hosting a lot of people.
For Arlen, he'd be interested if there's like a library or like a place where there's like spell books or like spells that he could find and look into.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there are a couple of libraries here. Upon initial request, you are granted access to one that is on the third floor.
And you said there's 6 floors, correct?
There are 10 total.
10 floors, sorry. Okay.
Mm-hmm. There's 10 floors total. So you are given access to the library by Dorian Keldon. He's the one, the Archmage of Divination, who has met with your party. He's a human. He is about 60 years old, has a beard that's going gray. He's spoken with you all a few times before. You've met him. You've also met Hansel Gekri. He's the Archmage of Necromancy. He was at that clans moot in Norgal's Rock with the dwarf clans.
Gotcha. All right.
Let me show you to the library. I'm sure you will feast your eyes upon a number of volumes that we have here, spanning many a topic of wonder and higher mysteries.
Yes, I'm quite interested in learning any new kinds of spells.
Yes. And please see to it that you don't remove any of the books from here, if you please.
I nod my head. Of course, I am just interested in learning.
Well, I've spent many a long night poring over these volumes. I know the feeling.
All right. I'll walk in, and are they like section? I know this is a little bit out of game. Are they section off in like the kinds of spells, like evocation, illusion, things like that, or are they just like it's
they
like
do have things organized. They have them categorized pretty well. So you are in a library that has about a 20-foot high ceiling. Okay. So there's actually a lower and an upper landing, and there's some stairs. There's a couple ladders, and the walls, the circular walls are really just lined with bookshelves, all manner of leather-bound tomes, scrolls made of parchment and papyrus. There's even some stony tablets in one corner. There's some tables. There are ever-burning sconces on the wall, which essentially just look like a wrought iron torch sconce, but they have flames that produce no heat.
Oh,
that's awesome. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
You also see a lantern that is hanging in the ceiling. It's kind of a, I don't know if I'd call it domed, but it's circular, so it has that effect, and the architecture gives it the voluminous feeling, spacious feeling. And there's this lantern hanging from the center of the ceiling that emits a silvery light, a soft silvery light.
I like this place. Arlen just might leave and just stay here for the rest of his life. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. Yeah, I think that. So, I guess I'd try and find some more of either the illusion or the evocation kinds of spells. I'm specific. If you want a specific thing I'm looking for, perhaps the invisibility spell or the haste spell. Oh, that's a transmutation spell, but yeah. Looking for those.
Okay, so you begin looking for spell tomes or spell books, and things are organized fairly well here. If you like, you could make an investigation check.
Okay. Find my investigation real fast. All right, this is, I believe, intelligence. Okay, and I'm proficient in it, so that's a +9. That's a 22.
All right. So you don't have any trouble referencing the volumes, and they've got things organized quite well. You do not find a tome that is pertinent to, you said invisibility?
Yeah.
You don't find an invisibility spellbook here. What was the other one that you mentioned?
So I was looking for the invisibility or the haste spell.
Haste. You do find haste. The book has it's kind of a two-part thing. There's an actual book. It's a heavy thing, and it's locked. It's one of those tomes that actually has a lock on it. And then they've got a ribbon fastened around it, and there's this parchment that is actually got a table of contents regarding the spells that are located within, and you do find haste on that.
Okay, I'll go find it. I guess what I'm trying to do is find the text of it if possible, so that I can copy it into my own spellbook with the time that I have. If that's allowed, of course, at the Silver Citadel. I don't want to break any rules.
Sure. Well, the thing's locked. It's
actually locked. Oh, I see.
It actually has metal bits on it, and it's a heavy volume.
Could I find someone? Is there anyone working here in the library, the person who led me in here, or are they gone?
Dorian Keldon unlocked the door. You're here alone, though he said that when you were finished, go speak with him, and he's going to be in a nearby room. What would we call it? Maybe a study.
Okay. I guess I'll go look for him to learn more about maybe why this book is locked, and just maybe try and get it unlocked for me.
So you go and you find him in the study. He is in there. He's speaking with a couple other individuals who you're unfamiliar with them, and he actually doesn't introduce you. He gets up from the table from their little conversation from a couple robed people, and he comes to where you are.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one. Yes.
Sorry, I was making sure you're finished. Yeah, I'll say, yes, I was wondering if I could get this unlocked. I'd like to read it for myself.
We keep that locked only for security purposes. Some magics are better kept safe and not in the hand of some others who might abuse them, but there's no harm in opening this up for you.
I appreciate that.
Well, Anyone who is a friend of the Stormbringers, we consider an ally. Where's that key now? He jingles around with his key ring. Oh my. I need to fetch another key. Is there any way I might get this to you tomorrow?
I look a little down at him and say, well, I don't know exactly what my captain is going to be planning for us to do the next day. I'd like to get it tonight if possible, unless there's another spell that perhaps I could find useful.
He looks back at the table where he was speaking with two men, and they have they're quite attentive. They've cut their conversation short, and they're intently watching this exchange that's happening with you and Dorian Keldon.
Arlen will look a little bit, what's the word? I can't think of the word. A little skittish. Like, he doesn't really like it when people are just constantly staring at him and things of that nature. Like, he kind of just wanted to like get this and go, basically. Like, he didn't even really want to talk to the guy in the first place.
I am in the midst of an important conversation, but if you will lend that to me, I will have it unlocked, sent to your personal quarters as soon as possible.
I'll nod and hand it to him. I say, thank you. I appreciate that. I'll be awaiting it, I suppose.
Yes, I'll make sure that it's sent to you. There are a number of valuable spells in here. I think you'll find them quite to your liking.
I'm quite excited to get a hold of them and look into them.
Yes, well, if you'll excuse me, Arlen.
All right, I'll walk back. I guess since he's going to do that, would there be any of the tomes that are not locked?
Mm-hmm. You do find some that are unlocked. Most definitely. You can see that they are spells that how could I have more utility purpose as opposed to directly. There's not spells in there that like invoke acid and bursts of fire and that can like hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
But you find spells of a few different kinds. So you got a 22.
22, yes.
22. Okay, so I'll tell you some spells that you immediately come across, and we can get the idea, if you're interested in checking them out or not.
Sounds good.
You find a few different cantrips. You find like mending and mold earth, prestidigitation, mage hand.
I've got all those, so I would not
all of those. Okay.
Yeah.
So you continue along. You find True Strike, the first level spell. True Strike.
Okay.
I don't know if you know what I'm referring to there.
No, I don't, but it's interesting.
I have an alternate version of True Strike, which is not a cantrip, but a first level spell.
Oh, gotcha.
The idea is to make it more usable because the cantrip one is regarded by many to be one of the worst spells in the game.
Would there perhaps be a charm person spell?
You don't find charm person. You're having a hard time finding anything that like directly meddles with people, whether could be dangerous or manipulating them.
That makes sense. I'm not happy about it, but it makes sense.
You find some other staples, things like comprehend language, detect magic, identify.
There's a detect magic.
Life.
I would be interested in the detect magic.
Okay, so you'll probably be working on detect magic for like an hour.
It's a level 1 spell?
It's just a level 1.
It would be. I think it's
probably like an hour per spell level.
It is 2 hours, I believe. Let me confirm.
2 hours per spell level. Okay.
Yeah, 2 hour. Yeah, so the process takes 2 hours and costs 50 gold pieces per spell level. So 50 gold pieces in 2 hours.
We'll say that tonight Arlen is learning detect magic, and you're probably like just seeing what other spells you could get access to in that library, and getting a handle on that. There might be some people that pass by from time to time like there's a servant that notices that it's unlocked and someone's in there, and he just comes in to check and make sure everything's okay. Maybe like an acolyte who is in training passes by. Do you talk to any of these people?
No, probably. Unless
Okay.
they talk to me, I'm probably just like focused. Like I probably have like my spell book open and like parchment on one side with my
They
quill
don't
and-
disturb you. Nothing more than just a quiet, hello.
Okay. I will probably have. I believe this would probably. I don't think this is a necromancy spell. If it is, I won't do this, but I don't think it is. I'll have my like an unseen servant, sort of just like carrying books around and like picking things out for me that I need here and there, so that like I can focus on doing my writing.
Okay, yeah, and your unseen servant is quite helpful, as unseen servants typically are. And you've also noticed here and there throughout the Silver Citadel, they have more. They have unseen servants as well here, in addition to some of those veiled guardians, the kind of perfumed mummified skeleton things that are all wrapped up.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so Arlen is in the library, bearing into some interesting tomes. Does anyone else have anything they want to do tonight, or should we pass?
Well, Drake might have one thing he wants to do. I don't know if it's possible. Does the Silver Citadel have any sort of like area for prayer to the gods or anything?
You are you looking around, or are you asking someone?
Drake will look around first. If he doesn't find it, he will then ask just to see if they do have one.
Okay. So I get the idea of Drake going through the corridors and the open rooms of the Silver Citadel. You have access to like the ground floor and like the first 3 levels or so, because most of those have either personal chambers, or they have studies, foyers, libraries, meeting rooms. There's like an area to like a garderobe to refresh yourself and do the necessities. There's you see servants here and there. They seem to be cleaning, organizing, maintaining, cooking, delivering food, everything that you would imagine such workers would do. A lot of people are going to sleep now, but there are some that will stay awake. You'll see here and there like an acolyte, essentially a low-level mage who literally is learning wizardry here. That's typical what wizards do. So you are going through these halls. Many of the corridors are curved. And you're looking around and exploring the place. Just right off the bat, you don't notice anything that has a religious icon or theme to it.
All right. So nothing stands out like that to Drake. Okay.
No iconography, no symbols, nothing that looks like a little shrine or prayer corner.
Then he's probably will find a place outside to do his prayers.
Yep. All right. So you can go outside. There's guards at every gate. The guards are typically the veiled guardians. I will give you a perception check since we're on this note.
Okay. I don't think that's a good one. Oh, no, wait. I have proficiency, so 16.
16. Okay. As best you can tell, the protection at the Silver Citadel, other than the archmages themselves, are the veiled guardians. Maybe some of the acolyte mages would know some low-level spells, and they could help if need be. There's got to be some kind of magical warding here too, but you don't notice anything obvious. So the veiled guardians, they don't really talk. They gesture some, but they're pretty tranquil and still, and they don't move a lot, other than to open the door for you, to beckon. Some will patrol, but they have a real steady, tranquil way about them, and they just have this perfumed, spicy smell. You can always smell them when you get real close to them. So outside of the actual tower, there's like it's a settlement. It's like it's not a bustling settlement, but there's outdoor buildings of all sorts, a lot of utility type buildings. Then there's like this one ring wall, and then there's the gate, and then there's that outer ring wall, and then the main gate that leads onto the landing, and then the stairs going down the mountainside.
All right. Drake will probably head to the gardens if there are any.
Yeah, there are garden, courtyard-like areas outside. It's actually very pleasant. The temperature here is really nice. Cold, hot. And there's a magnificent effect of this iridescent lightning rippling at the top of the spire.
All right. Drake will then just find a secluded spot that's somewhat out of the way, so he's not disturbed and not disturbing anyone specifically, and just do some praying.
Okay, so you find a secluded spot, maybe a little rock bed with some hedges, and you pray. What is your prayer?
He's looking for a little bit of guidance because he's knowing his oath to Noxiqual is coming to an end pretty soon. He at least feels that he's going to complete. Noxiqual is going to complete what he needed for Drake to keep the oath. So he wants to know where he should be heading next to. If he should stay with Noxiqual or go and actually complete what he initially set out to do.
Mm-hmm. Do you pray to a specific god?
He's going to play specifically to Diagnosis for this one.
Diagnosis? Okay.
Yeah.
So you offer your prayer to Diagnosis. Diagnosis the Fury. Make a, let's see, this seems like wisdom to me. Make a religion check based on wisdom.
Okay. Natural 20.
Mm-hmm. There is a presence, a moment, a glimpse, a moment of communion with the divine here. You feel the strength. You feel the blood flowing through your veins. You feel the strength and the courage in your beating heart. You imagine the image that you saw previously in your vision of a great hall of warriors in some astral realm, and seated atop his throne, Diagnosis, warrior god with flowing hair and beard, probably beer as well.
Yeah, I would see him holding his
you
horn.
did see that, yes. A great celestial sword laid across his lap, bedecked in armor of extravagant, majestic craftsmanship. What was that? You're gonna have to speak up. I can't hear you over all the sounds of our feasting. And you do hear this rah, 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 like this chanting as though like warriors are preparing for battle.
Drake will go towards his god through this astral projection, I guess, and speak to him. I seek guidance. I feel my oath to my captain is slowly coming to a head. I need to figure out if I should stay with him or strike out on my own.
Did you hear what the hell he said? I can't hear a damn thing through this. You hear another voice, but it kind of fades in and out, and it's something. The brazier, Drakengrim. Ah! Hey, are you trying to get out of Drakengrim? Is that what you're saying?
No, I am looking for guidance of what to do next.
Guidance. Okay. Well, we're about to mount an assault on the abyss. Zugsboy has been a major fungus on my ass for a while now. Do you want to join in this battle?
I have an oath I must keep to my captain before I could join you. But that oath is slowly coming to a head. I'm looking to see what I'm supposed to be doing next, and I am not sure. I'm at a cross in the roads. One path leads to remaining with this captain, and the other is to go on my own.
Ah, well, good for you for not breaking your oath, Dreckengrim. I hate Dreckengrim. He barks back and forth with someone, but it's really hard for you to make out, as though it's faded, and you know that foggy sensation anytime that you've had any dealings with Mer Queen related entities. He says something, but it just sounds like a voice that echoes across so much space with so much reverb that it's just kind of lost within its own resonation. But you can make out one. Actually, I'll give you a perception check. You make out one word, but maybe more. Give a perception.
That's actually not bad. Give me 1 second. I gotta check my stats. 21.
Cool. So the one word that you were going to make out is Gitzgrond, but you make out more than that. The temple in Gitzgrond. Reclaim it.
I shall once my oath is done. You have my word.
To battle! Charge and the foe shall break! Ooh! There's like the clamor of spears and swords and axes and shields, and the sound of a great number of boots charging away, and it all just becomes an echo in your mind. And
All right, what was the name of that temple?
he said the temple in Gitzgrond.
Gitzgrond. It's spelled just like it sounds, I take it?
Gitsgrond. Gitzgrond.
Okay. All right. And where is that? Because I don't think Drake knows exactly.
You seem to have seen it on the map of Dreckengrim in the southern area.
Is that one of the abandoned temples that he was told about? Oh, wait, no, that's what I remember.
It's certainly down there a ways.
Yeah, it's one of the temples that could have visited. So, okay. Yeah, I do have it actually written down. All right. So, well, now we know where Drake will be heading next once his oath is done.
What about Carderock? Do you have any wonderings, musings, or perusings?
So, just to be sure, this is the following morning, or this is still that same night?
This is the night you arrived at sunset.
Right.
And you took some time to rest, to refresh yourself, to eat. Noxiqual and Lykar are deep within the grips of exhausted slumber.
Right.
Arlen and Drake have gone off to pursue their own persuasions.
Card, having made at least one of his saves, is actually pretty well rested right now and is probably going to attempt sleep for a while, but yeah, he might end up wandering around, but not necessarily looking for anything in particular, just kind of aimlessly. He doesn't really know what all his place is here at a college of archmages, aside from maybe finding something that might contain knowledge of knightly lore and history of the realm, especially with focus on noble deeds.
Well, if Card ends up outside, he'll probably run into Drake at some point then.
He might.
So, Carderock, you rest up for a bit. I imagine you are weary, though I don't think you actually have any levels of exhaustion at the moment.
Yeah.
And then you go to your wandering about. And while wandering, you happen across, or maybe this person happens across you. He is an elf, a high elf to be exact, and he is wearing one of the Archmage's robes. Long, flowing, exquisite silken robes with patternings throughout them and high collars. He is not carrying any visible implements in hand, though does have a belt with a couple decent-sized pouches on it and voluminous sleeves to his robe. Oh, hello there. I believe you are one of the Stormbringers.
Ah, yes. Sorry, I'm afraid I thought you were a tapestry for a moment there. Yes, you presume correctly.
I am most pleased to make your acquaintance then. My name is Braylith of Undyne.
Of what?
Braylith of Undyne.
Like undying, like the water thing, or like undying?
Undyne, not undying.
Yeah.
Necromancy is not my specialty. I don't even dabble in it. You are...
Ah, yes. I had heard tales of Hansel Gekri, and you look nothing like him, so I assume not.
No,
Carderock
I'm very much not Hansel Gekri. I come from Osterwarden, in the Forestlands.
I am Carderock Harkness, Sir Carderock Harkness.
A knight?
Summerfield.
I do not know the courtesies when one meets a knight. But, my dear sir, welcome to the Silver Citadel.
Oh, I should assume same as when one meets an archmage, or something like that.
Well, the official way to address an archmage is your magicalness. There are others that will be very, very stern with you on this point. Boxbrom, you don't want to get it wrong with him. Though with me, you can just call me Brayleth. It's an honor to meet you, Sir Knight.
Well, your magicalness. I suppose it is fortuitous that I ran into you and not. I'm afraid I did not quite hear your whisper, but nary a mind.
Boxbrom Tealbeard, a short fellow.
Oh, which
He's the Archmage of Conjuration.
interesting.
And you bear some interesting regalia about you. Are you a paladin? Are you a sworn holy knight?
Well, sworn knight, yes. Holy, on the best of days. Sworn holy knight, about 3/4 of the way.
I see. So you could almost swear you are a knight.
Something like that, yes.
But I wouldn't almost swear it, though I might vow it.
Well, you don't strike me as the swearing type. You seem like more polite of company than that.
I never swear in the common tongue. No. Only in Elvish.
What has you wandering the halls at this hour?
Oh, I was just on my way to submit some of these formularios. I might need to have you fill out one. Are you a spellcaster yourself, knight?
Of a sort, yes.
Okay, well, we have a very strict code around here. I know your party arrived late of hour and quite exhausted. But if you could, he starts pulling out a number of like scrolls, kind of like unfurling out of his sleeve here. Oh no, that's the wrong one. Ribbit, no, get back in here. There's a toad. He puts it back in there. Oh, yes, here they are. There's 6. There's 6 of you.
Not since I last counted. There are only 5.
Okay, he stuffs one back in a sleeve. Here are 5 formularios. Please make sure that these are filled out completely. There's a front and a back. And you start looking at this, and it's a very, very detailed and legal type speech document where you have to check all these boxes and sign your name a few different times. And it's prohibiting the use of magic except in certain situations. And this school of magic, like a necromancy, for example, definitely cannot be practiced unless it's under the direct supervision of Hansel Geck. It's long, and as it goes, the writing actually gets smaller to like fit everything onto the page. And by the time you've got to the back of it, it's so small you really can't read it anymore.
Ah, well, this infernal wizard speak. This reminds me of one I recently had the displeasure of speaking with. I trust I have until at least morning to furnish a reply.
Well, I did give my word that if I met any of you personally, I would make sure that you had signed it completely before going about your way. We have the High Council in just the day after tomorrow. If you don't mind, I've got a quill. I had it here. Sure. There it is. I was always somewhere to put it. Here you go.
Don't sign it.
Don't worry, you don't need to sign in blood or anything.
Would you mind terribly if I escorted this tome to my chambers and reviewed it sometime between now and dawn?
Well, is there something wrong? Is there some confusion? It's just a standard document. Everyone signs it.
Oh, no confusion. I just think it will take me between now and dawn of Wednesday to read it.
No, you'll be quite bored if you read the entire thing. It's all standard. There's nothing on there to be alarmed about.
I'm sure it is riveting. It's just long.
Well, I mean, if it's too long for you, I could take part of it off. He takes the document out of your hand, flips it, and like rips off the bottom third. There. I never cared for that part, anyways.
Oh.
You look at the form, and some of the words are actually changing on it.
Huh.
Like if you squint real close, like one of the lines, some of the letters are like trading places and kind of like rewriting what the sentence is actually saying. And there's something on there about like anyone who stays here for more than 10 minutes is obligated to powder Miss Muffins upon her request. And some other things you're not even sure what the hell they even mean.
Powder Miss Muffins. Anyone who stays for longer than 10 minutes?
We need to bring our devil lawyer guy.
Exactly, yes. That's the person with whom Card research.
I was going to say, you guys might want to see if you can get that attorney to come back, because, especially for you guys. Drake is just going to be like, okay, I can't read.
Okay, well, it was a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Aardvark Hawknest. Thank you very much for your signature. And he like snatches out of your hand.
Your acquaintance as well, bailiff. He hasn't signed it, by the way.
Seems perfectly signed and completed to me. Your name's all over it, and actually, it's a full document now. It doesn't have that ripped off portion anymore. Quite well, and do get the others to your friends. And as he like bows to you, like a bunch of papers and scrolls like fall out of his robe. Oh dear. What's your name? Lurky. Yes, you. And just this invisible force starts like reorganizing all his papers and gives it back to him. Thank you very much. Yes. Well, I think it's tea time. Pleasure to meet you. And he just like turns around and starts.
Just don't get a frog in your throat if you have to speak later. Card turns around and makes a beeline for Nox's quarters.
All right, you go to Noxiqual's quarters. The door is shut. You imagine he's sleeping.
Uh,
Knock the
Yeah,
wall. Knock the wall.
well, it's bad to wake him up, but like Nox needs to be at a minimum warned so this doesn't happen to him, and also aware if he's annoyed by the fact that people are going around doing this, and also just he's the other one that Card thinks would have a similar him more Lykar, but I don't know. I guess whoever was closer. The other one that would have
Are you wanting to
not wanting
wake
sign.
up? Are you wanting to wake up Noxiqual?
Yeah, probably.
Noxiqual, someone
Roll
is
for
jostling
initiative.
you.
Roll for initiative.
I was gonna say, good thing I have this inspiration. If I should
For a
know this.
bad reason.
Yeah,
How
and
hard are you attempting to wake him up?
yeah, because I'm pretty bad out. as I
Right.
recall.
I think if he doesn't respond to like slightly heavier than normal knocking, he'll probably go find Lykar instead.
Also thinking this is your strike 2. Because that other time that you brought
Man.
that woman to my quarters.
Yeah. You
All
wake
right,
Lykar up.
Even Robin.
So Noxiqual was like bad, exhausted, really bad.
I couldn't
So-
even stay awake. I passed out.
Right.
So yeah, so let's imagine that you stop short of like actually like slapping him or screaming at him or dumping cold water on his face.
Oh, we
You're
can
probably
actually
going
get
to take
the
something
room.
like that to actually wake
Oh.
him up.
I just thought the door was locked.
The doors, well, you don't see any locks on these doors, though that's not to say they can't be locked. But no, Noxiqual's just alone. I mean, there are the guards patrolling, and there's your party to keep an eye on things. But he's not. No one like locked him in his chamber.
Oh. Interesting.
We're the fools.
So you go to Lykar's chamber, is that right?
Yeah.
Awesome.
He wasn't as bad. He was quite rough, but not as bad as Nox. You open the door to Nox's chamber.
Lykar.
Lykar's chamber, thank you. And for just a split second, you see somebody or something like a person, a translucent or a transparent, incorporeal, not even complete, not even like a full body of a man, which looks like he's in a robe, but it's all ghostly like. So it looks kind of like a mage, or definitely it is a mage of some kind. And he's like coming through the wall and like peering at Lykar. But then he like looks up, not at you, but like looks up and gets this panicked or intense look on his face, and he starts to run, and he just kind of like disappears halfway through the room, just like into thin air.
By all the gods.
Meanwhile, Lykar, you had something of a dream. It's very hazy and foggy, but someone was calling out. So just a voice of a man was calling out. And you awaken very groggily to Carderock shaking you.
Okay. Carderock. Who has died?
Well, for a moment I was worried you. There are things here which I trust you are as mistrustful of as I should trust you should be. There was one in here a moment ago who has now vanished? Were you perhaps dreaming or casting a spell?
I was sound asleep. Describe what you saw.
I tell him about the little apparition that I just witnessed.
Does this correlate to my dream at all?
You did hear the voice of someone calling out in the dream. Let's see. What do you guys think? Dream recollection. I'm thinking like
Probably like
insight.
I was thinking intelligence. Well, if he's trying to remember
Or like
the dream,
wisdom.
if he's like
I would
remembering the dream.
I'm thinking insight because it's wisdom. Intelligence is more like knowledge and facts and reasoning and I guess memory is often connected to
What if it was like
right?
what if
Just
it
like
was
remembering names, facts, stuff like that. But
What if it
something
was-
about this seems more like internal, personal,
Reflection.
spiritual. Yeah, I'd say do an insight check.
Okay. Oh, 17 plus 3 is 20.
There's a flash in your mind. You bits and pieces of it come back to you. There is a man, a mage that you've seen before in dreams. This mage who's like, he's looking at this mermaid girl who's at the bottom of a pit or a dungeon, like a flooded out thing, a shaft, and she has purple hair, and has some distress with her mother, and this guy is reaching out to her and trying to like touch her hand or help her or something. You've had this a few times before. It's this guy. He was in your dream, but this time he was shouting Telvantis. Telvantis!
This is quite unsettling. You say you saw an apparition that matches what I was dreaming. I would think this place to be well warded against any kind of magical intrusions. And they have cast silence on you.
Save for those which originated from within, yes. Initially, I had come to warn you of roving elven archmages with capabilities of magical signature forging that may well have, just put me on the short list for some demon's next vacation visit. But witnessing that, I believe that's now the second most unsettling thing I've experienced tonight.
Now that I can recall this dream a little bit, I remember having this dream previously, but not quite as vivid. But my mind is still groggy with the lack of sleep that I have had.
Yes, indeed, I would not have woken you under any circumstances other than what I thought to be extenuating. I should think to warn Noxiqual in the morning. I could not rouse him and did not want to.
It's probably best that you did not. He was in dire straits, which might put you in dire straits.
Oh, I believe the straits are dire enough when whatever is written on that paper comes due.
Yeah.
Somewhere around there, there's an elf running around with a parchment the length of 2 horse and carts that, probably sells my soul to something.
Maybe we shall inquire about that in the morning.
Yes, I should think so. Well, you trust that you are not under attack?
I feel, besides feeling tired, I feel a little better from some sleep. I don't know how long I've been sleeping, but a couple hours maybe. But I am not yet fully rested.
Well,
Perhaps we should just make an inquiry to Who's our contact guy? Kelvin?
Dorian Keldon.
Dorian
I don't-
Keldon.
Okay. I guess I could drag myself out of bed for a few moments and go have a chat with somebody about what he saw, and then I'd like to go back to bed.
Yeah, Card is not going to
The enemy?
try and keep him awake for that. What?
A chat with the enemy?
Unless they're the ones doing it. Yeah, so.
All right. Well, you tell me. Is Lykar going to drag himself out of bed to ask some questions, to inquire, to look around?
Well, yeah, I think briefly, just to go to, I don't know if that guy's available or there's some upper manager or
Okay.
assistant manager.
How strongly does Lykar feel about this? How concerned?
Well, he's, he thinks he should be safe here, and if things are like watching me or trying to wake me from a dream, and you would think that they would have this place would be well warded and guarded against any kind of magical intrusions. Just bring it up to their.
You know the mists of the Mer Queen, the influence of her dreams and nightmares, are held at bay inside the Silver Citadel. And surely they must have wards of different kinds here in this powerful group. So it is.
I mean, I would just like to make a brief inquiry and just make them aware that, this is possibly more than a little, coincidental, and that they should maybe look into it, and I need to go back to bed.
Okay, so you discussed this with Carderock for a bit, and it's concerning enough to you to where you're going to drag yourself out of bed and plod to go find Dorian Keldon or someone. When you poke your heads out of the door, there is a servant nearby, a girl of adolescent age, and she startles just a little bit and then acts like she was just getting something out of her cart to go mop the floor. Good evening.
They're young lass. I guess we'd ask for, I don't know if there's a steward or somebody that's on duty at night, like the night shift guy, or...
Conceivably, it could have been Brayleth, unless he was just wandering around by himself for other reasons.
I overheard what you said. I've seen the ghost too.
Really?
But never here. He's always in the midden chamber.
Do you know whom the ghost is?
No, but I've seen him in there before. Really close to the trash chute, but sometimes by the door that leads to the cesspit. It smells really bad in there. I don't know. Maybe the guy died. Maybe he fell in the chute and drowned in the cesspit. Awful way to die.
Or maybe he ate one too many of whatever they're cooking in the palace kitchens, no?
I don't know. I think the food here is quite good. But
Good.
I've never seen him here before. I've never seen him on this floor or anywhere else.
I think... Lykar is just exhausted. He didn't sleep for 3 days. So I'm sure right now eyes are burning, and he just probably has that pounding in your head when you're really tired. Perhaps, Carderock, you could go and inquire about this, and I'll go lay back down because this is odd.
Yes, I should not want to trouble you any longer than strictly necessary tonight. I can investigate for a while, see what might be the case.
Somebody must know something here, so I think I'll just return to my rest so I can be ready for whatever tomorrow brings. Otherwise, I will have disadvantage on my intelligence checks.
Okay, so Carderock, you go off in search of Dorian Keldon or some other mage who has some rank. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, probably specifically him, because we have interacted with him before. I know for sure he's not going to magically sign my name on a contract for something. Yeah.
You go back pacing through the curving corridors of the tower here, and you've rounded a good bend when you see another servant, maybe a page of some sort, who's heading in your direction. He's wearing kind of a simple robe, sash in the middle, a couple of pouches, and he has like a rolled note, a rolled piece of parchment. Carderock, Harkness, sir, this message for you.
Oh, joyous day. This one knows my name and brings me notes. Do I dare open this, or will it explode in my face?
Please open. No explosion.
You would never be sure with wizards. Never trust a wizard. He'll take it and begrudgingly open it.
You open up the note. You are summoned immediately to Miss Muffin's personal chamber, and it gives like a door number.
Oh.
Miss Muffin?
Yeah, I remember the Miss Muffins was mentioned in the contract.
Oh, son of the spawn of whatever is birthed forth from the bowels of a poxy donkey turd. It says where it is.
Yes,
Is it?
indeed. You have been officially summoned by Cordeline Muffins of Oldenmark.
Who is the Archmage of?
It does not specify any magical titles.
Does this happen to be, near the Midden Chamber?
Not that you know of. It looks like it's just one floor above yours, still in like a guest quarters or a living quarters kind of area.
All right. Well, so then it doesn't specify anything about not going by the mid.
Will you be needing anything else, sir?
Only to stop by the Midden Chamber on the way.
I'm sorry, sir.
Yes.
Why
The
would you
chute
want
over
to go
there? No.
If you have refuse or something, I can have it taken away.
No trouble. I can dispose of it myself. I am a knight used to traveling along the road, dealing with all my own wastes and refuse and discarded into fluvia and go about your work. I shall not disturb you any further.
Oh, it might be better if you don't go there. It's more of a staff room only.
And I am a knight of the road. Without large lands and titles to call my own, I am a man of the people. Think of me almost as one of you. I shall pay it a quick visit and then be on to wherever my fate lies according to this little shit.
As you say, sir. Good evening. The page scurries along, and you go onto the ground floor to kind of like the back of the opposite end of the front door area, where there is like a big double door that that can swing either way, and just staying in front of the door, you get that kind of faint whiff, kind of a refuse smell, not a great smell. And you go inside. There's like one servant who's like dumping out freaking chamber pots through like a cesspit trap door, and he just looks up at you. Good evening.
Even, I shall not be in here long. I merely wanted to look around.
Just a midden chamber, sir. Not much to see in here. Sorry about the smell.
Between you and me, I'm something of an enthusiast of the unexplained, and
You're at the right place for that.
one of your brethren tells me that this place is haunted.
Oh,
I want to see for myself.
Okay, I've never seen the ghost. I don't know if that's true. Hey, are you one of the Stormbringers?
Needn't you worry about that, but yes.
Yeah, you are. You're the knight. Hey, do you like to partake
In of
the delicious cloud? the fume of the trees? The divine shrubbery?
Would you like to get high?
The heavenly hedge?
Does it
Best.
come from Mephits?
Here, man, the best.
Best.
Yeah. There's this place out in the gardens. It's killer.
I do believe I should have to take you up on that offer. No. Shall we say the same time tomorrow? I've official business to attend to upstairs.
Okay, yeah, I will be there, and I've got this really amazing pipe. You trust me, you'll be flying through the stars. All right, Carderock, right?
Yes.
Okay, yes. Okay, tomorrow night. There. What time?
The same as this.
Yes. Of course. At
I shall neither arrive early
the
nor late.
10th bell.
See what I mean?
All right, man.
That was always a joke, don't you know? And all right, with that, I mean, I guess he's not going to see the ghost just by hanging around. So onward to finding out whatever is troubling Miss Muffins.
All right, you make your way up a few flights of stairs. Kind of a long walk from where you were in the midden chamber. Do you knock at the door, or what do you do?
How thick is it? Thick enough that he thinks he has to knock, or could he just like kind of clear his throat at it disdainfully?
All right, you make your throat clearing grunt sound.
Who is it?
Oh god.
Needn't matter to you, but I have a note.
Is it Carderock Harkness?
Oh, so everyone knows my name now. Wonderful. The one place that I haven't told anybody, and they all know. Ugh.
Come on inside.
You open the door and you see a rather plump dwarven woman who is reclining on like a couch, and she's wearing like these big dwarven boots, very big dwarven boots, and her feet are like raised up, and she's eating some cake and just kind of like lounging there.
Come in.
Boots. And what else?
Fine dwarven gown.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yes.
It's all on the up and up. All right. All right, he'll walk inside.
I've been needing a man with some good, strong hands for a while. Please, take off
now,
my boots.
if I might ask, for what?
She wiggles her boots like this.
Just give them an unlaced and an unbuckle, and they come right off.
Are you not aware that I am a knight?
I've heard you're a knight of the road. Used to grit and grime and all kinds of things. Not off-put by smells of any kind.
Do you not think that you are capable of removing your own footwear, or that this is slightly beneath the kin of a knight? Ken, whatever that word is.
You have truly never had the pleasure of massaging the feet of a noble dwarven woman.
Clearly I have not. Though
She reclines back like this, and you see like nice big bushy hairs in her armpits.
Go on, you look like a strong fellow.
Now, before I start, would you do me the kindness of explaining why it is that I received this note of anyone? Servants, perhaps? Invisible, lurking things?
This is a test. Any
Oh.
true knight would see that a fair dwarven maiden needs to be pampered and treated like the queen she is.
A maiden?
Yes, there at the table is the oils and perfumes and powders. Go on.
A maiden?
Make sure to give each little toesy plenty of attention.
Now, before I start, perhaps I should regale you with a tale of a deal with a devil. For you see, they are a very litigious lot who do love their contracts, although it is said throughout the realm that such contracts are voided and rendered null. They should respect it. If one of the parties were lying or entering into it under false pretenses.
You are also a scholar.
A maiden, you say?
That I am unmarried, but the truest and most valorous will win my heart one day. It could be you, Carderock.
Oh, I am not that valorous. Oh no, I could sing you stories for centuries of knights more noble, more valorous than I, more chivalrous than I, more accomplished.
Please do.
Perhaps not.
Just sing while you're working on my poor, aching, tender feet.
So do I know? I don't know what school of magic she's affiliated with at all, right?
You do not. You have not heard of schools of magic and
Have I perhaps heard of her at all for any reason?
Make a history check.
All right. All right, that's not terrible. That's plus that. That is my good one, right? Yep. 21. 13
You
plus.
have never heard of Cordeline Muffins of Oldenmark.
Like, never heard of as in, oh, yeah, I guess I never heard of her, or like, I've never heard of her. That's weird that people are talking about her. Does she actually exist? Or something, ghost something.
Lean towards the second option there.
Okay, all right. Now, before I start, I must say, you are quite a striking figure. May I have the pleasure of knowing some more about you?
Well, of course. I was born outside of Norgle's Rock, but I was taken away to safety in Oldenmark after dangerous battles with lizard men erupted nearby.
Ah, yes, the Greenscale tribe, was it? The Scourge of Norgle's Rock?
I don't know the names of them. I was just a little girl back then.
Well, their scales were green, were they not?
Oh, I didn't see them myself.
Okay, so she's skirting around, admitting that the Hydra tribe was the antagonist there. All right. Now, just side thought, Braylith, the Archmage of what did he say again?
He actually didn't say.
Okay, all right. God damn it.
So do you go for it or do you not go for it? Do you get down and
I mean, he's gonna keep
boots and massage the feet?
He's gonna keep stalling with more and more words and stories and maybe inches towards the door stepped.
Okay, so you just stall out. All right.
He's starting to doubt that she's real and not some sort of a similar apparition because he went ghost hunting and now has found it.
All right, so you stall out and eventually she just gives this really frustrated sigh, and the frustrated sigh turns into I almost had you, and like the dwarf body just like melts away, and there's Braylith laying there, and no boots, no crazy feet, no hairy armpits, just him in his mage's robe. Oh, you are a sharp one, Carderock Harkness. I had you there. He like slaps you on your arm.
Well, you know what they say. Let your words be not like a blanket, formless, soft, comforting, but without shape. Be like a sword and have a point. Now, of what school did you say you were the Archmage?
I'm the school. Let's go.
Uh-oh, the coronavirus.
Another big feather, this time like a long peacock feather comes out of his nose. Here you are. This is for you. Feather of sneezing. Tickle anyone's nose, and they'll sneeze most violently. Here, give it a try. He gives you a little tickle on your nose, and the like most massive urge to let out a giant sneeze comes over you.
So, as I said, the school of what?
Illusion. Here you are. Do you take the?
Oh, that's right.
The
He said
feather
the
of sneezing?
cantankerous one was conjuration. Okay, and he's the illusionist. And so he's what? He's offering me this feather of sneezing.
Yes.
I can think of a couple of like big bad NPCs that might benefit from having their noses tickled by this later. Yeah, he'll accept it.
Excellent. Now let's go and mess with Captain Noxiqual. You make him sneeze. I'll dip his hands in warm water.
Alternative proposal. If you would like to do that, I'm going to bed.
I heard that your group was a more jolly and mirthful bunch.
Oh,
well,
yes, some of us. But you have some decency. The man will what?
Me, Carderock.
What?
I will get you one day. And he just disappears.
Do this, do that. Rub some dwarven lady's feet. Wake up at just to where
He's
I
gone.
was
Okay,
this
so
whole
do you
time.
go to bed?
Yeah.
All right. Boy, what a day this has been. So you decide, let's just hit the hay. You go to sleep. Let's move things to the following day.
Oh wait, before we do, did
and-
I get that book before the next day came?
Yes, you sure did.
How much time would I have? remaining?
You got the book unlocked, and it has a number of transmutation spells in it, from cantrip up through like 4th level spells.
Well, I guess I'll go ahead and do the haste if I have the time to do it for the night.
So that would be 6 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to do that instead of sleeping?
Would I get a level of exhaustion if I did that?
Not automatically. You get to make a Constitution saving throw.
That's an interesting.
Come on, who hasn't stayed up all night? Absorbed into something fascinating.
Yeah, I think Arlen would probably do it. Even like out of game, I don't think I would, but in game, yeah, I think Arlen would do that. Yeah, all right, I'll do a Constitution save.
Yeah, you're poring over this spell book, and it's like someone has in like perfect arcane penmanship written all the runes and the formula and instructions and gestures and how to use the right components and the right hand gestures, and it's to you it's the most fascinating thing.
Mm-hmm.
So you all night long are learning the haste spell and like experimenting and getting it figured out. Every once in a while you hear like these like kind of a gong bell sound, counting out the hours. It's like daybreak comes. Yeah, go ahead and make a Constitution saving throw.
Come on, it's my second highest. Oh, that's actually really good. That is a 19.
You are filled with arcane energy. Who needs to sleep? You could be learning spells 24 hours a day, or so it seems. Lykar and Noxiqual awaken late into the next day. Like they sleep through the whole morning. They wake up to eat some food, go back to sleep again. They're just like they're dead for a while. But eventually they get back up. Like it's maybe early evening by the time they're waking back up. Everything is getting put together for the High Council meet. So there's like servants everywhere. There's people organizing all the practical challenges and needs of hosting a lot of people. And you're seeing people all over the place. Like you're seeing dwarves, you're seeing humans from Sumnerfield and Grenadoa. You see like cultists that follow different beliefs. There's all kinds of people converging here for the High Council. So you all tell me what you would like to do. If you want to spend time just like talking to people, asking questions, investigating, we can do that. Or we can just go right to the following day. Like this is just a recuperation day. We can go to the next day and go straight into the High Council. What's more interesting?
The magical items, because there was supposed to be something about that.
That is something that will be done. Yes. You are approached by a mage named Sergen. Go to the right document. There we are. Sergen Martox, who has the fulfilled order that was placed by Caitlin Weirman in Grenadoa. So you all are, have like a meeting with him in a small, private meeting room. He opens up a case, 2 rings of spell storing, cloak of displacement, cloak of, I've never seen one of these before, cloak of the octopus. That is a new one for me. That brings
For our knights of our party.
The Octopus Knight. Who am I to question? I have a total of 18,000 gold pieces of value.
Would Noxiqual also be here? Or would
everyone's there? Everyone's there.
Oh, everyone's there. Okay.
Yeah.
So Drake will then hand over the gold for the cloak of displacement.
All right.
I thought I already paid for my rings, but yeah.
Yeah,
you paid for the ring? Okay.
I thought we already did.
Yeah, I deducted the money.
Okay. Carderock, did you pay for the Cloak of the Octopus? I think you're on mute.
You are on mute.
You're muted. You keep walking into rooms with silence.
Either he did or he put like the down amount or like the original amount, and then it got some extra added on when another feature got added to it.
You
Okay.
should have tracked that.
Well, I don't quite remember what we can do. I can roll a d4 times 1,000 gold pieces, and that's how much you still owe on it.
Sure.
4,000.
Okay, yeah, because based on this, he definitely had paid. Looks like 10,000 total so far. So yeah, 4,000 additional. All right, I'll mark that.
Pocket
Well,
change.
the cloak itself is not worth 10,000.
Oh really? Oh.
Or it's not worth more than 10,000.
Oh.
So sounds to me like you've already paid it.
Or I already deducted it.
No.
All right.
Yay. Okay. Yeah. In a typical at-home session or at-home campaign, you get more time to
Yeah.
worry about the minutiae of this 1,000 or that 10,000 gold pieces. But we're a little bit more focused. So sounds like you've all paid for this already. Oh yes, it's already paid for. Here you are.
I slide the 2 rings on and begin attuning to them.
Which also, I need to remember what all the cloak does now. It's a cloak that changes its appearance.
Let's
Look like
see.
anything, and it's also functions as a cloak of the manta ray.
It works like Cloak of the Manta Ray, swimming and water breathing. And then, yes, there is something camouflage-like with it.
Yeah, it
I
changes
think
appearance.
it can change its color and texture at will, and
Right.
that provides you advantage on stealth checks
Okay.
to made to hide. Anything else that anyone's interested in, or should we go to the High Council?
I'm for the High Council. I had little minor things, but there's nothing important.
All right, sounds like the High Council it is. So the following day, and you all have more rest by this point, so we are looking at Lykar with 0 levels of exhaustion and Noxiqual with just 1 level of exhaustion.
2 levels. I was up to 3. Oh wait, no, I am
You
at 1
slept,
level.
slept
Yeah,
3 times.
you're right. Yep.
All that
So,
sleep didn't wipe him out.
No, I
a
was
long
really bad.
rest removes a level of exhaustion.
Oh,
So he's down to but 1.
And 1 level's not too bad. It's just
Oh.
everything more.
I totally forgot. There is something that happens before the High Council. Dorian Keldon gives you all a tour.
Sure.
Come with me. You all would like to have a look at the place, I imagine.
I won't say no.
So he escorts you to some different parts of the Silver Citadel. He takes you up higher than you previously had access to unescorted. He does not take you all the way up into the highest level of the tower, though you get to see the majority of the stories. He takes you up and you see different areas where there are like the Archmage's suites, there are workshops, there's a much more interesting library. There's all kinds of magical curiosities and essentially everything that you could ever dream of and you could imagine that a council of 8 archmages would have. And everything is with a wizardly and opulent level of fine quality. He then takes you back down to the ground floor where you meet with a second archmage, one who Carderock is acquainted with, Braylith of Undine, a high elf fellow. I knew I'd see you again one day, Carderock.
Well, yes, we are
The tower
still
isn't big
physically
enough for the
standing
both
under
of
the
us.
same roof.
10 paces, and then fire. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Noxiqual
7,
reaches for his
8.
sword.
9, 10.
Do not trouble yourself, Nox. This one's an illusionist.
Drake also snaps
There's,
a finger at him, at the Archmage, to
Does
make
he
an
actually
illusion.
extend his finger and make a little stick come out with a flag on it that says "bang"?
No, an arrow shoots out, and it like goes straight into Carderock, and Carderock's like, ah, and like falls over dead, but it's just an illusion, and the real Carderock is still standing.
Do I know it's an illusion? Like, can I see the
Carderock,
real
have
Carderock?
you warned him that this guy?
Yeah, that's
Is
what he
the way
said.
that he
That's
is.
why when Nox was putting his hand on his sword, Card said, "Don't trouble yourself. This one's an illusionist."
Mhm. Very well.
Dorian Keldon, he doesn't laugh. We shouldn't delay. We don't have much time. But if you will follow me, there's one other area that you all will be interested in seeing.
Lead on, Dorian.
So he takes you down into a level below, into a dungeon level. And once you get down there, you all begin hearing the sound like a wow, wow, wow. This cyclical sound, and it gets louder and louder as he takes you towards the heart of this level. This way. There is a door, a rather, really just kind of a solid portal. You don't see handles on it. He puts his hand on it, mumbles something. There's a slight ripple, and and the door swings open. And now the sound gets much louder. The chamber on the inside is a large circular chamber. At the center of it is something like a pillar, a cylinder that is affixed to the base of the ground in like this rotating circular contraption that has sigils of different kinds put into it. And the cylinder goes all the way up to the ceiling, and there's another affixing contraption up there. The whole thing's made of some kind of silvery metal, and there are these bars, almost like spokes that radiate out, come out from the cylinder. It's a large bars, and there are creatures, big things with vaguely humanoid forms. They each have 4 arms, muscled things that look to have been pieced together from like body parts of ogres and trolls, like hulking things. And they have like these completely like head encapsulating mask helms, and they have like these gauntlet things on their forearms and other like bits strapped onto them of silver or some kind of silvery metal. And it crackles in like green lightning rippling all over them. Their boots have like these kind of spurs on the back of them. And they walk in like these dragging motions, kicking up these sparks from the floor. And the lightning like channels through their bodies, through these bars into the central cylinder. And they're just pushing this thing like endlessly around and around and around. Dorian Keldon has to yell for you to even hear his voice. This is where the power comes from. The levers of Fulgurium. It is a wonder like any other.
How exactly does this contraption generate magical power?
Brayleth of Undyne says,
"To the souls of storm sorcerers, we must sacrifice Lykar!" Just kidding. It is purely a contraption of elemental lightning. They shout at you as best they can. It was really a joke. They shout at you as best they can. Speaking of this generating elemental lightning, and it gets stored here.
They are harnessing lightning itself and storing it in some sort of battery.
Dorian Keldon does the hand thing again and seals the door. The sound muffles out to a less deafening sound.
Give me, I'm not an expert on such matters, but that lightning that you are taking from somewhere, where does it come from? Where are you taking it from? Magic does not come from nothing. One must pay some sort of cost or take it from something else.
A very inquisitive mind you have, Noxiqual. But you do not speak incorrectly. What you see here channels from the elemental plane of air.
That would make some sense. I glance at Lykar with my one eye.
Brayleth says,
The might of the Silver Citadel is not to be trifled with.
So those creatures that were turning the cylinder to like generate the stuff, were they golems or were they like undead?
They did
or
remind you of
zombies?
golems. They reminded you of flesh golems.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which makes sense with the electricity flesh golems. Yeah. Makes sense. Noxiqual just kind of keeps his thoughts to himself here. He's taking it all in.
Oh, privileged ones you all are. And now you will know that when we are to bring the might against the Mer Queen, we shall bring it with a tremendous fury, the likes of which the world has never seen before.
I can only imagine you are harnessing the entire power of a plane into the material world. Such magics have probably not been seen since the days the gods and the titans walked Dreckengrim.
Yes, well, the gods and titans will not walk Dreckengrim again, and neither will the Mer Queen's undead forces. This will be the age of mortals.
You say the gods will not walk. That's very interesting. Have you heard of the speaker for the Mitra Satsil who has come?
Yes. I have spoken with Mitra Satsil myself.
Interesting. I would love to hear more.
All in due time, Noxiqual. But Mitra will not be lording over Dreckengrim. We do not need to bend the knee to a Bazagonian god.
Such words are very reassuring to me. But I would like to hear more substance of what the exact plan that you have dealing with them. Gods are not on the same level as us mortals.
No, we are not gods here. That is true. Thankfully. Let us go back. We will speak of this at length in the coming days.
Indeed. I think we need to speak amongst ourselves as well.
Friend, job, fair news, favorite, online, other.
Lykar?
Oh, sorry, I'm trying to help my son do something for a second.
Oh, okay.
I was reading the menu. Sorry, I thought I was muted.
Okay.
I apologize.
I'm like, is Lykar chanting a spell?
Yeah, it did have a certain chant quality to it.
What was Lykar's reaction to seeing the Reavers of Fulgarium? Did he have some?
Yeah, I was
reaction
actually
to that?
really cool because Lykar likes lightning. So
Arlen was probably taking notes, like pulled out like a
definitely kind of checking it out as
writing
yeah.
down.
Is there an opportunity to pull Lykar aside and maybe have a quick word with him after we can finish the tour? That is, right before the council.
Sure. Well, the tour concludes.
Yep.
He just wanted to give you a grand tour and some glimpses.
I thank him for his consideration.
I will give everyone a free perception check while we're at this.
Sure.
All right.
I'm rolling very well tonight.
Awesome
boy.
sauce.
Only a 16.
You beat me. I got an 8.
I got a 17.
Anyone else?
Taro has a 19.
Oh, aren't you?
Well,
Aren't you?
whoop-de-doo, you.
13 for Dre.
Got all them hard points in it.
Oh, man.
All I will say is that you got to wonder what's on those top couple levels of the tower.
Well, yeah.
That's it.
Do we have to wonder, though? Do we, Esper?
Okay, so Noxiqual, you're after the tour.
Yeah.
You said you want to say something to Lykar.
I just want to have a quick aside with Lykar in our rooms. Arlen, can I ask you to come with us? I would like you to place your magic barrier, that hut or whatever that prevents divination magic inside of it and such.
Yeah, I nod my head and come with you. And yeah, if you want me to, did you want me to do it now?
Yeah, like when we're
yeah.
inside Lykar's room. I'm sure they have some sort of, shall we say, surveillance spells in play, but I'm hoping this magic is...
Mhm.
It's a pretty solid spell, aside from...
It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah, it's there's not a lot that can bypass it except, extreme measures.
Well,
I'm sure.
I take the 10 minutes to do the ritual. I guess I'm like putting down glyphs or whatever I need to do, and then
He's
tiny
debugging our room, basically.
yeah, basically, yeah. So I'll put the hut up, and I guess I'll be in the hut at the beginning, and I'll look at you and say, "Is it all right if I stay and listen in?"
Yes, it's fine. I would expect nothing less if you wanted to stay here since you are casting the spell for us. But Lykar, I need to speak with you. I wish to do it without the Silver Citadel casually listening in. If they are intent on listening, I'm sure they could force the matter, but it might take more obvious visual and magical effects.
Let me know if you. Yeah, let me know if you need the spell. Esper, it's Leomon's tiny hut. Just so you're aware.
Yep, excellent. So you create your hut of. It's made of force. It's a solid color, so you guys hide or huddle inside of that to speak with each other privately.
Yep. So, Lykar, you saw what I saw down there in the, shall we say, chamber of machination and lightning. Do you understand what they're doing?
I have some ideas, possibly.
Well, he said flat out that they are taking the energy straight from the plane of elemental air. Stealing the lightning, if you will, from the elementals. Do you not think that might be the reason why Talvantis said that they are the enemy, if they are taking energy from his home, his domain? Or if he is a titan of air and storms, the elemental plane of air is his home.
I could see how he would see that as a possible intrusion or possibly even a threat.
Indeed. I just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page, and I wanted to get your thoughts once I explained and made sure we had the right information.
There's a lot of webs being woven here, and it's not just one side. I mean, we were allying ourselves at the moment with the Silver Citadel, but it's not all black and white as we would like it to be.
Alliances are temporary matters. They are there to serve a purpose. Our purpose is to aid them in the upcoming war. But whether or not we formalize something more long-term with them remains to be seen.
Yeah, I think they are using us just as we are using them.
I don't disagree, but again, I would know your thoughts on this since it directly affects you and your, well, I don't know if he's your patron per se, but he's close to your patron, I would say, Talvantis, as the masked one is to me.
Yes, well, I am hoping that I do not cross a line with him and that he takes further action directly against me.
He has not given any reason to believe he is cross with you, but I think it's important to note that you have to make a choice at some point whether you stand... He seems to be of the viewpoint the Silver Citadel are the enemy. And if you are with the Silver Citadel, then perhaps that means that you are not with him in the way that he needs you to be. And again, maybe that's the correct choice. Or perhaps you have more familial ties and you wish to stay with your bloodline.
Just a quick question, Talvantis. He's a titan or a god? trying to remember exactly.
He's a being called a Titan.
Storm Titan.
Yeah, Storm Titan.
Okay.
One of the two Titans, right? That
The
were
two
there.
Titans we know
two
about.
of them
Yeah.
manifested or made their way into Drakengrim in a prior age.
But he's not a god, right?
Talvantis,
No.
God, yes,
A
Titans
god
and
would be
gods are
like
separate.
from a astral type of plane, and then the Titans would be from an elemental type of plane.
They're both beings of
But they're-
great power.
Yeah.
Those beings of great power. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you recall our conversation, I don't know if you were coherent enough on the way here when he manifested himself before we came up through to the Citadel.
Well, hazy.
That they were not to be trusted, and that I would need to make a choice.
Well,
And I told him I am trying to keep all options open in the war against the Merqueen, and the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Arlen
understand.
will speak up. Actually, he'll say, "If it's any consolation, I think it's important to remember that whenever a group of people or even a single individual has lots of great power, there's always something behind it. There's always a reason for it. They're always looking for something to use it for."
Well, Talvantis' power is completely beyond any of us.
Apparently, not beyond the Silver Citadel, though.
Perhaps, as a group, they could maybe give him the so-called run for his money, but I think it would be to the destruction of them both.
I think what's important here, what to not lose sight of, is not who is stronger, who is, the one who is going to win necessarily in a confrontation between them. I think what's important is what you want, Lykar. If you want to support Talvantis, if you want to restore him or your own family, then focus on that, and whatever gets in your way, whatever obstacles are in your way, cut them aside and just go for it. Seize your goal in front of you, no matter what the cost. I will support you. I just want to make clear what you are looking for, and I want to be sure to be ready to act when the time comes, if you have an idea of what that is.
Yes, there is much to ponder with this. I am not sure it is even in my benefit to have Talvantis come back to the remanifested into this world, as that would it would be utter chaos. Perhaps what I want is not even doable. I want my family name to be cleared so that we can walk free again without fear of being hunted.
If that is your goal, the ones who are holding your family in disregard are the Silver Citadel. They're the only ones who can clear your family name in the way that you want. Since they are the persecutors of your family. So you must convince them or do something that makes them in your, shall we say, debt or forced to grant you this boon that you seek.
Yes, they have killed many of my kin over the years, but for some reason, like I said, they have taken a keen interest in me and wanting my help. Like I said, I just believe that they are using
look at
us.
you. You are probably the strongest of your bloodline in generations. You called Talvantis himself when we were on the realm of dreams and nightmares. I don't believe I've ever heard of anyone who's called a being of such power by name, just came to him when he summoned them.
Ah, yes, it's a second level spell. No. Yes, I feel...
Don't sell yourself short, Lykar. There's something about you that they may not play it up, but they need you and your power for the coming conflict. That's why they are so willing to make a deal.
Perhaps it is with my relationship with Storm Titan.
I would not doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, it's at this point, what we understand is Lykar is Telvantus's link into the mortal world.
He's like a scion or a avatar almost.
Yeah.
In the sense that he's a physical walking conduit.
Like a magical conduit. That's exactly what
Yeah.
I was going to say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, we shall see how the meeting goes.
Right, keep all these things in mind. I think it'll be important soon to have it ready to go because you may be called to make a snap decision in a moment.
I hope I make the right decision.
Well, you have all night to think about it, but like I said, keep these things handy and make up your mind.
Yes.
I'll
Very
be there
well.
to back you in whatever you do.
We shall see, my friend.
Indeed. So, yeah, Noxiqual
Um,
doesn't call many people friend, but he thinks of Lykar is one, so he wanted to make sure he had his head in the right place going into this.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that. There's a lot of different angles to the story right in that area there. So
I just wanted to put it all kind of laid out for you so that you have them at your fingertips going into this next scene. So I'm sorry, Esper.
No,
please.
I just also remembered another thing that was supposed to take place before the High Council, which is fine because we're still before the High Council.
I was about to say I'm glad I gave you time to think of that.
Yeah. Well, well, as Dennis has said, there is a lot going on. I have a bunch of notes, but there is also a proper introduction to all the archmages.
Yes.
That seems to still need to be done. So let's do that. Maybe this will be fast. Maybe it'll be long. We'll just go with it. So there is a moment where no one has a lot of time right now, but they make the time to meet with you all in like a grand it's actually in the grand meeting hall, the grand hall that's like up on one of the higher floors where the actual council is going to take place. So you all are invited, summoned, and the whole Archmage Council is there. So I'll tell you who they all are. I know there's 8 of them, so it's difficult to remember, but that's fine.
I'm gonna jot
just
them
to let
down
you know.
as you say them.
Yep, and I can even post their names, and it also has a few basic details about them here
If you
in
could.
the chat.
That'd be awesome.
So we have. I hope this looks good when it comes out in a message.
You put them in the YouTube chat, by the way.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's what I wanted to do, but it
Oh, okay.
split it into 3 messages.
You can put it in Discord as well.
Ah, dang
It's
it.
fine.
Yeah, I'll put it on Discord. It didn't look good. Discord looks much better. Okay. So we have Kyger Cincatel, who is a high elf. He's the Archmage of Abjuration. Boxbrom Tealbeard is a halfling, the Archmage of Conjuration. Dorian Keldon, who you all are acquainted with, human, divination. Mielga Tulane, she is also a human. She's the Archmage of Enchantment.
A lot of them are.
Braylith of Undyne, high elf, who I seem to have switched names around here. He's actually supposed to be Illusion, and then Saya Frayless is supposed to be Evocation. So let me edit that here.
All right, so just switch illusion and evocation.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
So say
And
like
almost like
granddaddies.
almost like all of them are humans.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
human is definitely the
Yeah.
predominant race in Dreckengrim.
I was about to say they're like the rabbits of the fantasy world, so
Yeah, true.
And the gods love the humans, of course, so they give them all the magic.
Yeah, of course. I mean, humans are the best, you know.
Says the elf.
Where would D&D be?
No, I'm a
without
human. I'm a human.
Okay. So we have Saya Frayless. She's the Archmage of Evocation. And we have Braylith of Undyne, the Illusionist. Hansel Gekri, who you all are acquainted with as well. He's the Necromancer. And Wolfgang Ironskins, also a human. He is the Transmuter.
Interesting. Very interesting.
So this is everyone. They all meet you and they have a few words with you. Let's see, what can I say? Some of them are friendlier than others. Most of them are, of older age, as wizards tend to be. Kyger seems pretty helpful. He's the abjuration mage. He seems one of the more. He's nicer. The halfling, he's more like a salty guy, real cranky. The transmuter as well. He's very disagreeable. He doesn't seem very happy that Lykar is here. And we should probably address that topic since they have some opinions. So Wolfkin Ironskins, the Archmage of Transmutation, he says, I never thought I would live to see the day that we had a member of House Telvantis inside of our citadel as a guest. This only proves to us the dire and desperate situation that we are in. I know that you have no love for us, Lykar, and I cannot profess any love for you as well. But if we can be of aid to each other to put an end to the Myrrh Queen once and for all, that is a crossbow bolt I'm willing to bite.
I'm going to just kind of look at them all. I guess I picture them all sitting on these real fancy chairs and
everyone has Victor.
Yeah, that's what I would think. I'll just walk up and I'm going to address all of them. And I was like, for many years, the name Telvantis has been hated throughout the lands. We are to blame for everything, for the deeds of my grandfather. We have been hunted, we have been executed, and now here I am, and you are all asking for my help. Why should I help you if you will continue to hunt my family? Telvantis himself says you are not to be trusted. Why should I trust you?
I've asked myself that same question, and I don't have any answer to that. As long as you are not siding any longer with the Myrrh Queen, O Scion of Telvantis, that's all that I'm concerned with. Your family can live or die, and it's no more than a troll's fart to me. The High Elf, Tiger Cincatel, the Archmage of Abjuration, he cuts the tension. Now. The last thing that we need at this moment is to be getting angry and menacing to one another. We're not here to dredge up the misdeeds of the past. War is a hellish and complicated situation, and it drives people to do things they would not otherwise do. The worst in people come out during war, and we all have that demon in our hearts. I do not know that any of the current archmages have had any direct involvement of the killing of members of House Telvantis. Those were our mothers and fathers, our grandparents, and so forth. Some of us aren't even related to the prior archmages. So all that I'm going to ask of you, Lykar, is that you do not cast your hatred upon me and my colleagues, and allow us to move forward without the guilt and the shame of what happened before. Maybe wizards and sorcerers are of different stock, and we see things differently, and we have a different understanding of the world. That's fine. There's a room enough for all of us, and we can figure this out together. Please.
Just as you are not responsible for what has happened before, your predecessors? Why are me or my cousins or my distant relatives still hunted, and we still must bear our names? You will all clear us and swear an oath here that the name of Talvantus will be free to walk all of the realms of Drekengrim again without fear of being killed just for having that name.
The halfling, he's the one with literally with the teal beard, the conjurer. He he says,
Well, always with the fucking. Please let us walk everywhere we want to go without anyone doing anything bad to me. The drow say it, the tieflings say it, the dragonborn say it. Everyone says it. What can we guarantee? We'll stop it. We already stopped it. We've got more important things to do than hunt down your cousin, nephews, half brothers, cats, babysitter. Look, we have an undead army to defeat. Walk in the street. I don't care. Fuck me. Give me a drink.
But the name is still tarnished. My name will be cleared.
Saya Frayless, she's the evoker. She has actually not been looking directly at anyone this whole time. She's just been almost dazed. I think I might have killed a young Talvantus boy once. I burned the whole house down. I think he died. That's all she says. She doesn't even say it directly to anyone. She's just kind of off in her own la la land. Dorian Keldon, your main contact here, the diviner, he says, I agree with Kyger. We've made some good progress betwixt the Silver Citadel and you, Lykar, and the Stormbringers towards reaching a mutual accord. I would be perfectly amenable to the idea of writing up an official writ decree. We'll be speaking with Lord Rodvin of Sumnerfield, anything that is necessary to make a official, publicized decree that House Talvantus has long since distanced from the betrayal of the past, that no guilt or crime is pinned to the name of your family, that you are all each your own sovereign individuals, free to go about your lives.
That would be agreeable, but all of you here must sign it.
I would be perfectly willing to do so. They seem to mostly be in agreement. Some of the saltier ones, they don't exactly say yes. They just, well, I'll take a look at the exact wording of the thing I'm going to be signing. Thea, the evoker, still is, I don't know. I tend to burn paper away when I touch it. Saya, look at him. And like Dorian like angles her head towards Lykar. I'm sorry. I won't burn it. Can we put it in stone? That's a yes. I think she's saying yes. Of course, there'll be some details to discuss, but of course, we want the races of men to be in accord so we can cast down the army of the dead. I think we can all agree upon that.
I can agree to fighting them, but before we carry on, that this matter will be taken care of. So I know that if I do not live through the war, at least I know children who have not been able to even speak their own name will be freed.
The halfling hops down off of his chair.
The damn war's not going to start tomorrow. We'll have time to figure out the stupid thing. Ah, shit, I've got stuff to do. Nah.
And he gets out of there.
Yep, I say all 8.
The Abjurer Kyger, he says, of course, we're not going to be able to produce such a document right here, this very instant, but it would be a matter of great attention and priority for the Silver Citadel. We will certainly have it before the first stage of the campaign is waged. Before a soldier's boot hits the marching trail, we will have the document ready.
Then let it be so.
You're making a wise choice, Lykar, says Dorian. I know this is not easy for you. It's not easy for us either. And there's probably still much more to work out. But this is an important step. And we're not going to be able to find the victory that we are hoping for if we are not all unified. Allies, truly.
Yes, the war will be very difficult. Amaranth is powerful and has many powerful allies in her camp.
Yes.
But we have powerful allies as well. And I can bring the one who can greatly aid us.
Yes. We will speak of this as well. The nightmare battle that you all partook in.
Indeed.
So there, I feel like there's a lot we could keep talking about on this. And you guys are totally welcome to do so. If someone has, I'd say, like a point or a question of pressing importance, go for it. If not, if you have lesser things or whatnot, we can go to the High Council and deal with side stuff
I just
later on
use
or next session.
Just use Infernal Calling, summon up my Infernal Lawyer, get him to like draft out something. He'll hammer that out by the end of the day. We'll get it all signed.
Easy.
It's you laugh, but I could actually Infernal Call him up.
Yes, yeah, that is.
I
a
have his
reality.
name.
Do
Yeah.
you propose that to the mages?
No, not yet.
No? Okay.
We'll leave that for later. It's just a funny thought I had. Not yet. But
All right, so it's a couple of the archmages are, we have other things we got to do.
Yeah.
Good meeting you all. A few of them linger around. Brayleth of Undyne lingers around, and he's a high elf illusionist. He approaches Lykar. Don't worry, Lykar. I don't wish any ill of you, but I might give you tickles. And he like just jabs you in your ribs with his finger.
Oh.
It's like a grandpa tickling you.
Oh, okay.
well, you should tickle him back with lightning.
Yeah. Yeah, give him a little psst.
Oh, and
Sorry, it's just a reflex I have.
my finger.
No, psst.
I'm gonna go approach Dorian real quick. And I'll say, I know the council meeting is tomorrow, or the
Yes.
everything summoned.
Everyone is here. We're just making the final preparations.
How soon do you think things are going to kick off in the war, and how long do you expect this war to take? Is this going to be a single battle? Is it going to be a campaign?
These are the points that are going to be discussed and debated tomorrow.
Very well.
It's, as I've heard it, the dwarves and the humans are of different minds where this comes to play.
I only say this because I have other obligations than this that I must attend to, and I would wish to handle this or if there is time, handle those obligations rather than wait for something potentially to happen moving
Yes.
forward with this.
And do neither. Yeah.
Yes, I understand. Well, this word this whole time has been spring. Spring, spring, come spring, the war will start. Well, spring is nearly upon us. It will
Mhm.
be a matter of mere weeks.
This is not going to be a one battle. To lay siege to Amaranthus Castle will take much time.
Indeed, I was going to say this is not going to be a single battle. I would expect multiple encounters of great importance and lesser importance, perhaps leading up
Yes.
to greater importance. But let's discuss at the council. Like you said, I don't want to get bogged down in details here
Yes.
when we can't actually make decisions.
Right. And much of what I might want to ask of you and you might want to ask of me, others will want to hear as well.
Exactly. The only thing I would ask is, can I look at some library or records? I have things that I can actually take action on and gather information on while I wait.
Mhm. Well, I've already given access to the library to your party. Arlen has made use of it himself.
Oh, has he? I see.
Yes.
Yeah, you
we keep
actually-
we keep it locked at night, but you are only to summon myself, or if I'm not available, speak with the mage Max and Sergen Martox. Speak with Sergen if I'm not available. He has a key as well.
Excellent.
Oh, yeah. Since they mentioned me, you'd probably see me very tired at the moment. But like I stayed up all night researching this stuff.
It happens. Sure. I think that's where Captain Knox will spend the rest of his day and then get some sleep when he gets, tired, of course. So I'm handled. I'll tell you specifics if we get to it, but I don't want to bog things down with minor stuff.
All right. Should we go to the High Council?
I think that's wise. Yeah. Anyone else?
Is that the next day?
It is. Do you continue studying the spell book?
I'm debating. Yeah, I think Arlen might keep going. Yeah, he's very or maybe not the spell book, but I actually know what Arlen's really interested in the that power source down below.
Mm-hmm.
Could I look into that some more?
Let's see how they steal it from the plane.
Yeah. So you can go back to the library and read, or you can talk to somebody. What's more your persuasion there?
Arlen would be more on the reading side, I think. Yeah.
Very well. You got a 22 on investigate previously, right?
Yes.
Okay. We can roll with that. I don't see that any, nothing's really changed with that whole endeavor. So you continue your research at the library. There indeed are a couple of volumes that are written upon the construction of the Silver Citadel, its makeup, its architecture, its properties, and including the levers of Fulgurium. As you read through it, it's long-winded, it's dry. There's a lot of hypothesizing. It's certainly wizard material. They don't seem to store the elemental energy in a battery, so to say, battery. It's actually immediately extracted into arcane reagents, most notably residuum, which is a silver dust. But there are other things that they may make from it. They have some small items that are actually made from elemental lightning. So there's bound elemental lightning that might take the form of a gem, of a little stone with a glowing rune on it. So it seems to you that they surely would have caches of these components. Also, a lot of them get used for spell components, for creating constructs, for creating the Veiled Guardians. They use this to fuel their magical constructions and their spells here. The tower itself,
does indeed have a number of magical effects that both make its environment very temperate and pleasant, and also protect and ward it.
Does it talk about any way of like storing this power, or was that the gems that you were talking about? That would be like a storage container.
You could think of that as storage. The residuum would really be the closest thing to a pure storage. Imagine arcane spells that have a variety of different spell components, maybe even expensive spell components, and the residuum can replace any of those.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Is it is it available to gain access to? Like by by
Yeah.
Can I just borrow your nuclear reactor for a minute? I want to run some experiments.
Don't worry, you'll get it back in about 3, 4, maybe 500 years.
The books that you're reading through, it does address this point. While residuum is not a commodity of the market of the Drekengrim, they do sell it like how they sell magic items and other components. And I mean, it's an official transaction that gets recorded and it's regulated. Like what you did with those other magic items in Caitlin Weirman and whatnot.
And this is an item that can replace any spell component. You said
any arcane,
any if I had
not a cleric spell.
So just as an example, so I'm clear here. Say I had a spell that needed like 25,000 gold pieces of something, or like 15,000 gold pieces. Like it would replace that.
If you had
the equivalent
of
value of
residuum is priced in a certain gold piece value, so it's like, think of it like a dust that you
you'd get like a vial or a little flask, a container of.
So it's like if I needed like a $5,000 or gold piece diamond, it would. If I had a 5,000 gold piece, that it would. I got you. Okay, that makes sense.
But because they're generating it, they're essentially generating magical component value.
For free. Yeah.
Right. Which is huge.
They seem to have a way to. They literally have a way to produce an army. They're producing undead and constructs.
Probably with the residuum
in volume, so that they have a standing army, an army that does not have any requirements of normal soldiers to eat, drink, breathe, sleep, go home and see your family. I mean, for all you know, they just have like an underground chamber that's just packed with skeletons or flesh golems, and they can just open up the hangar doors and let the army out, and they're not going to complain or anything.
Okay, well, I guess Arlen will just spend the night researching and looking into all of that. I'll probably I think Arlen would probably fall asleep in the library, like looking into all of this.
Learning about residuum and how it's used and all that. Yep, makes sense. But I think what we all really want to know, and the audience too, Esper, is does Carderock go back and smoke that fine...
Carderock, do you meet with the trash man?
And do you also play a prank on what's his name? Sorry.
Oh, well, I think
30 words or less.
He's got to be thinking. He's got to be thinking tonight about what prank to prank Braylith of Undyne with, because it's got to be something good. It can't just be half-assed. And then yes, that. Yeah. I don't know. How sure can he be that any ghosts were just illusions? Or does he think there's
I don't know if I can answer that.
Okay. Huh. All right.
I mean, maybe you could look into it or make a check of some sort, but I take that as Carderock's own musing to himself. You know, is there any certainty here? Is this an illusion, a ghost?
All right.
Residue of an echo of spells bygone?
Then, yeah, I guess he is going back there, if for no other reason than to hang out in the midden chamber a little while longer and see if that ghost appears. Yeah. And then after this, he's going to go to Lykar and, let him know one way or the other if there's an explanation for what he saw.
Okay. You spend a bit of time in the midden chamber. No ghost appears, though eventually the doors do open, and the trash man comes in with his carts and starts emptying out, you know, buckets and chamber pots and whatnot. And Carderock, you and me, I got the grand pipe, the grand master mage pipe. It's gonna be great. I'm gonna finish up here and wash, and then we're going to get festive. We're gonna be festive, my good sir.
I wish Robin was here.
I'm sure it shall be more enjoyable than anything that certain archmages can cook up.
Man, it's like they don't even really care what you do. You should hear some of the stuff that happens in this place. I mean, I know have your travels and stuff, but like, there's this one servant girl, and and when it came out later, there was like 5 more of them with, and it wouldn't stop until the next day. That I was editing out for younger viewers there.
No, I think that was actually perfect.
We know what you're trying to say.
Compress the into the essentials.
So he finishes up and washes himself, takes off his apron, and asks you to, let's go out to the, there's this garden. It's the best place at night. He's gonna meet with a couple other friends there.
All right. Yeah. The time for serious things is on the horizon, so might as well.
All right.
There's still time for whatever's about to happen.
He takes you out of like
the same garden that Drake's been using.
Not exactly, but it's probably close to it. It's like the adjacent garden. So he takes you out of like a side access door, and maybe you're not really supposed to be allowed there, but he doesn't care because oh man, he's got Carderock Hawkness with him. And there's like this really beautiful rock garden with standing stones that have images etched into them, and there's beautifully trimmed hedges that are actually like topiary animals and wizards, and there's some stone benches, and there's 2 other younger and have a middle-aged fellow, 2 other servants sitting there, and they all sit down in a circle with you, and he has like this giant wooden pipe, and he strikes up this big long wooden match and lights the pipe, and they start passing it around, a very pungent herb here that they are puffing away at. Oh, whoa. So Carderock, what's the most dangerous creature you've ever faced?
Well, have you ever encountered a sphinx?
A sphinx? I thought those were just down in the desert.
Oh, so you would think. But no, and lo, behold, as I did that night on the ruins upon the moors. And he is gonna, I guess minor illusion wouldn't really be enough to conjure a hugely detailed image, but that's a cantrip, so he'll be telling the story, and at certain key points punctuating it with little illusory like flashes.
Probably do like a shadow play, something at that level, or like smoke, like Gandalf blows out his little smoke cloud.
Like shadow.
Right. And like talking about, yes, and then it breathed its terrible breath in a cloud. But I was not overcome, no, the creature would be the one bested upon that day. And thus it was, that my legend was born, and now I may sing of great deeds, but there are those who sing of my deeds as well. After all, you had heard of me somehow.
Wow, yeah. Like, I've only seen 2 creatures. One was a trash monster. This one cesspit they only use for the waste material out of the workshop. So it's all kinds of weird stuff mixing around down there. And I am not lying. One time I looked down it and this thing, like a slime monster of every color, came up and almost bit my face off. I was gonna die. And then one time I saw one of the fairies on the stairway. You know the fairies on the stairway? Do you know about that? Like the big stair getting up here. Yeah, there's fairies that are invisible out there, but they guard the place and they get some kind of deal with the mages for working for them, like a secret guard. But I saw one of them once. It was like a little guy with gray skin and wings like a butterfly or something. And I think he was just taking a piss, but I've never seen anything like that before in all my life.
Well, you tend to see certain things when you are a world traveler and a knight errant and one who composes in song the deeds of others and occasionally myself when they merit it.
Hey, man, do you know about the dragon?
The dragon.
Yeah.
The dragon.
There's a dragon. The real master of the Silver Citadels, the dragon.
Which
He lives
dragon?
down in a big cave under the tower, a big silver dragon. Yeah.
Silver dragon.
Yeah, but nobody's ever seen him. But I promise he's down there, man.
Out of characters, is that just something that's we've known about?
Make an Arcana check.
All right. I'm sure I've heard of it with my 2 that I rolled, but what I've heard about it, I don't know because Sure, I've heard.
It seems like this guy is just fried on the mage herb here.
Every sentence spoken by someone high has a bit of truth in it.
Very well. Let's proceed to the High Council. Carderock, you spend your time with the servants and the lowly workers who keep the place running and clean, and they are absolutely thrilled and ecstatic to have gotten to smoke with the one and only Carderock Harkness.
Well, yeah, he's a man of the people. He's got to keep up that reputation.
Yeah. The High Council commences the following day, late in the morning, after everyone has gotten up, gotten prepared, taken their breakfast, and it is a massive gathering. So up on the 6th story of the tower, the entire story is dedicated to one massive gathering hall. Circular chamber. There's different levels of benches, and then the central area is where the esteemed representatives would be sitting. It's where you all were sitting yesterday, where you met with the archmages, and it has the high-backed fancy chairs. So we have obviously the archmages of the Silver Citadel. There is the whole human faction that is the representatives of Sumnerfield and Grenadoa and Strang's Keep. So there's Eric Rodvin. He is the High Lord of Sumnerfield. There's his captain of the Sumnerfield army. There is the captain of Strang's Keep. You all actually are acquainted with him, Thorngan Juniper. There's Thelmo Godswald III, Lord of Grenadoa.
They brought some soldiers with them, but the soldiers, aren't going to be sitting down there in the high chairs, the
Anyone I
thrones, you might want to call
recognize?
them. You reckon the captain? You recognize the captain of Strengths Keep just because you've
Okay.
had a couple interactions with him over the years.
No one else? Got it.
I don't think so. Carderock, you've probably met at least like you were there while your father shared a few words with Lord Rodvin of Sumnerfield, because you were like a minor noble house under that hierarchy. The dwarves are there. We've got the 3 chieftains of the main clans of Norval's Rock. We've got Dane Mithrillian, Clorton Alder, Fallerand Halfgrey. We've also got Orgrim Halfgrey of the Emerald Mages, previous companion of the Stormbringers. So he's happy to see you all again. No, you're still alive. Oh, except that one is gone. The tricksy one.
Yeah, the horn dog.
Did he offer
The
to get
bird.
himself perished?
He's as good as dead. He's married now.
Oh, well, congratulations to him. I guess he has a fine excuse for not being here. Oh, honeymooners.
Yes.
And there's obviously some dwarven soldiers there, a couple Thin Guard.
Curiosity about Orgrim. Does he still love the Mer Queen? Does he still have love for her or whatever?
I don't know if I would say love is exactly what I have for her, but you were there, Noxiqual. You saw what she did in my moment of need, as I stared at death straight onto the jaws of Keshabik. She was my savior.
I just wanted to know
Lykar.
what your stance was on her, considering this council concerns her greatly.
I still think there's a great amount of misconception about the Murd Queen, and much that we don't know about her and her story.
I look forward to hearing you bring up these points during the council then.
I was hoping you were going to put some more in on that, but it sounds like you have no news on that front.
We have information, but we will share what we share at the council.
Well, it's good to see you all again. Cheers.
Indeed.
And as well, another guest is the Vortex Cult, who you all have met before, and their numbers have grown. So their leader is Fainel Donin, the Elven prophetess.
Ooh,
I
Zaynel
remember
is
her.
actually
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
I was hoping to get see her again.
Mm-hmm. She is here. She has a number of the other Vortex cultists with her. Sort of psionicists might be one way we could categorize them.
Yes.
Though she is joined now by some divine characters. The guardians of the Lonesome Lighthouse, who are no longer needing to guard that lighthouse, are with her. The ones that you all met, those 4 guardian characters. Okay. So seated in the main chairs, the actual discussants will be the archmages, will be your party, will be the those leaders of the humans, leaders of the dwarves, and Fainel Donin. There's a lot of people gathered. There's a lot of chatter. It eventually quiets down as the council meet begins. So the big topic at hand, the coming war. Hansel Gekri, Archmage of Necromancy, says,
"Now there is much that we are going to disagree upon, but I believe we can begin by saying the Mer Queen needs to be defeated. She needs to be permanently slain. Her generals, her army of the dead, put to rest, so that the blights that afflict Drekengrim will pass, and our civilization may be rebuilt fully and properly."
And no one seems to argue that, though there might be a grunt from Orgrim.
we have one primary challenge, one major principal glaring problem with this entire plan, beyond which strategic point of attack and who will lead what squad. A Lich's phylactery. We know for certain that Amarantha the Merqueen and her General Pax Marta are liches of the highest degree. Even if we were to find the most optimistic success possible and win all battles and destroy their physical forms, it will only be a temporary solution if the phylacteries are not first found and destroyed. Without locating the objects which bind their souls and their essences, they will reform. They will come back. We don't know when. Maybe the next year. Maybe in 10 years. Maybe once we're gone and it's our children or our grandchildren. We must find them. We must find a way. Dordian has utilized over and again the extents of his divinations to no avail. We, and I hope you will agree, recognize that there is wards which we ourselves are aware of that block out such prospects of scrying and portents and auguries and legend lore even. They must be found through means of force.
I feel like such a phylactery would be well protected. If it would have been found by now, if anyone could stumble across it, it would make sense that it's at the stronghold where she could protect it.
Dane Mithrilian of the Dwarves says, "What better place for her to protect a phylactery than her very own castle? That is her domain. That is her stronghold. No other place could be better protected. No one goes there. Just her and her thralls. There is where we strike. We go straight to the castle, march our armies directly there. And you, Stormbringers, and you, Archmages, infiltrate. You wield your might. We will stay off the armies. Let dwarven steel clash against rotted flesh and wispy ghost. We will hold them at bay, while you, vanguards, will storm the castle. You will find the Merqueen in her slumber. You will find Pax Marta. You will put to them whatever means you need. They have no mercy for us. Show them none either. Extract from them this information. Locate the phylactery at her castle. And victory shall be ours. Permanent victory."
There's a lot there that you're saying that we do, and assuming that we can get it done. Do you understand the forces that Pax Marta commands?
I do not think you understand the difficulty of what you're asking. We have battled Pax Marta ourselves, and that is not a trivial fight. It almost was the doom of us all.
She did not even have a fraction of her forces with her, and the armies that she can summon and array would be considerable. If we went straight to the Merqueen's castle, she would flank us and surround us from all sides with the sheer numbers of the dead that she could call upon from the kingdom of the north that lies in ruins.
I was going to say, Arlen will kind of speak up a little bit, yawning as he does since he's very tired still. So, why should we even put our lives on the line for you? What's in it for us?
Your very life. Our lives. The whole of Drekengrim. You
Arlen,
wish us all to become twisted blights and horrors and shambling undead?
Arlen, like, yeah, it's great. Yeah. So Arlen just like has this like very like non-caring about it. He goes,
You the whole time you just present yourself as a generalized wizard.
yeah, I'm present. Yeah, just like a wizard, normal wizard.
Yeah, you're not wearing like a black robe with skull necromantic patterns on
Oh,
it. or anything.
I would be wearing my same robe. So the picture I sent you, like, I'd be wearing that like black robe still, and so it's definitely a black robe. But I haven't done any necromantic magic.
Sure.
Maybe I just
Well,
like
plenty of people wear black clothes
Yeah.
as necromancers.
But yeah, with like
So,
in my eyes, I'm
black is the color associated with the School of Magic Necromancy, and you are a wizard wearing a robe, so there's probably a lot of questions being whispered.
Right. But I'll speak
Lord
up.
Muffin of Sumnerfield stands up. The Stormbringers are correct. It would not be reasonable by any extent to imagine a direct assault to have a good chance of victory. They are powerful, but there are extents to even the most powerful among us.
Arlen will also speak up.
This war will only be won in stages and careful steps.
Yes, even a storm giant can be killed by kobolds if there are enough kobolds.
Arlen will again speak up and say, I don't really care much if all of you are turned into undead. I prefer to keep myself alive first and foremost.
That's not really relevant, Arlen.
I would expect such talk from a black-robed wizard. You're not even part of the Silver Citadel. He's a renegade mage in your company. How do you all feel about this?
I feel like that is not the issue here, and we should focus on the matter at hand. Unless you wish
let's
to
just
make
discard law when we're at the very brink of facing chaos straight on.
I'll look at the guy and say, have I done something that breaks your laws?
Hansel Gekri says, "This is not a trial of Arlen's wizardry." Turning
That's
back to
scheduled after
Lord
this.
Rodman. Turning back to Lord Rodman. Myself, Captain Stovus, Captain Thorngan, we have drawn out a battle plan. We have a strategy that we're confident will work. It will take strategic victories. We're going to have to find the different strongholds of the Merqueen's forces. Isolated, our chances of success are far greater. We will take Rockness. We will take Wraithstone. We will take another fortress that I suspect lies between there and the Water Castle. And lastly, we will go to the Water Castle, but we cannot expect an army to swim into a flooded castle. That's not practical. But after reducing the forces substantially of the Merqueen, then the vanguards of the Stormbringers and the Silver Mages may execute an infiltration.
If I may, we need to deal with the phylactery, as you stated earlier. Pax Marta might be an excellent test of our ability to do so with a lich. If we can find a way to locate her phylactery, perhaps the same method could be used when we are searching for the Merqueens to deal with her.
Drake's going to speak up at this.
To capture her, interrogate her.
To somehow use her, trace her soul from her to the phylactery.
Whatever means that you possess.
I'm simply saying if we destroy her, my understanding is she retreats to the phylactery in some form from the body that she possesses to rebuild herself.
Yes, that is correct, Noxiqual. She will reform in the immediate vicinity of the phylactery within a matter of days.
What if we don't track the phylactery, but we track her? If we could somehow use some sort of magic to mark her, so the divinations of Dorian can trace that marker, that link between her and the phylactery.
I like
it would
the
not be a certain
idea.
thing. We'd have to get it still.
I like the idea. I'm not immediately. I don't immediately know of a spell that
It
would
would have to be invented, probably.
mark the soul, the essence of a creature. It marks typically the body.
It would probably be a necromancy spell, I would imagine. That would be the domain of the Archmage of Necromancy.
I have a question. Have we not tried figuring out where they're not at yet? Look for locations that we cannot see into, and then begin searching those for these phylacteries?
You're
Instead of-
suggesting that we look for places that we haven't looked for the phylacteries.
You said you have searched for them with magic. There must be areas that you cannot see into.
Of course.
Why not we begin searching
they
those
could-
areas?
They could be
Or-
anywhere. Perhaps a gym or a small box.
You don't know
a
what you're looking
container
for,
of some
too.
kind.
Yeah, without knowing
to
what
hide.
you're looking for. Yeah.
Yes, as a fool who searches confidently for that which he does not know what it is.
We don't know the exact forms. This is Dorian Keldon, Archmage of Divination. We don't know the exact forms of the phylacteries, whether they are boxes, gyms, etc. I have attempted all manner of divinations across the span of some years, and they have yielded nothing. She likely has them sequestered through magical means.
Correct. I have then only one other thought that might prove some merit here. To minds greater than my own with magic. I know nothing really of the ritual that becomes a lich, but perhaps such knowledge, such forbidden knowledge, might be known for esoteric reasons to the archmages. If that ritual has some specific requirement for the object that becomes the phylactery, some significance to the person that makes that phylactery a part of their soul, could we not know who Pax Marta was? By knowing who she was, perhaps the phylactery would become evident by knowing who became the one that we know as Pax Marta.
It is a wonderful question. I am willing to explore this. I'm willing to explore this now. Who would aid me in a divination?
What do you require?
Your focus, your arcane knowledge.
Arlen will raise his hand. He'd be willing to assist in a magical like divination.
I also have some divination powers. I have scrying and things that I can channel into this.
I would also mention. I guess I mean they probably have this spell as well, but I have the contact other plane spell as well. But I'd prefer not to use that unless 100% needed because it has some pretty terrible side effects if it doesn't work.
So Dorian Keldon is going to be casting a divination, a very high level divination, and he's going to be providing, a noteworthy amount of residuum as a spell component. Anyone who likes can make an Arcana check to participate in this divination ritual with him.
I will definitely do that.
I will be happy to assist.
Yeah, Carderock.
Yep, absolutely.
And Lykar, get in on this. We could use your magical power.
It doesn't really have much, but you'll help.
Okay, so let's do this one at a time to keep things organized. I'm going to open up a document. That'll give me a stat. And then I'm going to roll. Here we are. Most excellent. Oh my gosh. Natural one.
Can I use my inspiration for him?
Natural one. Oh, the spell fizzles. He
Don't you remember we gave you inspiration that other week, Esper? No, I'm just kidding.
I think we determined inspiration is only for the person who is
I'm just
inspired.
messing.
All right, so
that's
he
fine.
rolled a natural one, though his Arcana is really high, so that actually got him a 17.
That's still really good. Yeah.
He's
All right,
clearly-
so let's just go in order as I'm looking here. Noxiqual.
I'm going to use my inspiration, unless I can wait to see my result and then roll it for inspiration. I don't know how you did it. last
Yeah,
time.
you declare the inspiration, then you roll with advantage.
Excellent. I declare my inspiration. I'm rolling now. That's a nat 20.
Hey.
So 27.
27. All right, Carderock.
He's got a 9.
Arlen.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at something. All right. That's really good. That's a 20 something. Hold on. It's not a natural 20. It's a 20. I think I have +9 in this. Yeah, so 25.
I feel like
nice.
I push Dorian out of the way. I'm like, let me show you how it's done. Masked one. Give me power.
Lykar.
All right. I'll have a 16.
16. Okay. You all contribute as you can. Carderock not contributing much at all, and
Arlen and
maybe
Noxiqual for contributing a lot.
maybe Drake can notice that and just like pull him out of
I
there.
think it's kind of fitting that Arlen and Noxiqual are kind of in sync on this.
Yeah.
There's some connections that make sense.
At the end of the ritual, the residuum sublimates in just this wisp of incense-like smoke, a very sharp, almost a like this. What do you call that sensation when it's fizzy? A effervescent sensation runs through everyone who's in the immediate vicinity of the smoke. There is a bit of a dark, shadowy wisp from Arlen and from Noxiqual, and maybe a snap or two of storm power from Lykar swirling about. And you all have a flash, a divination flash. I'm going to call this not a complete success, but
Partial.
you are getting some information here.
Yeah. Well, if only Dorian could roll not a 1.
Well, it's going to be valuable information, just not complete information.
Hey, I'm glad I came up with something
The
that's
first
valuable.
flash, you see a familiar image. There is a stony shaft, like a great well. In the water at the bottom, there is a mermaid with purple hair. She is crying. She's weeping. You hear her say, "Mother." She's calling out, "Mother!" And you see, you've seen this before.
Yep.
At the top of the well, there is a woman, a stern face, this mother of Amarantha, who is saying something, but the word, you can't hear the words. It's just all garbled through like this fragmented divination effect. And then you just get some rapid fire images. You see an image of the woman standing sternly, and Amarantha is screaming in pain and is like shaking or convulsing. And there's some liquid, like a dark liquid at the side of her mouth. And there were some other figures standing around, hazy through the fragmented divination.
Her mother, though, is the figure standing at her.
You see her mother, and then there's some other indistinct figures standing around Amarantha. And Amarantha, the younger one, is shrieking and convulsing and has ingested some foul liquid. You see a flash of Amarantha in a ghastly undead form. You see her mother's face shift. It shifts to also a lich form. It shifts to a milk pale form.
Do we recognize Pax Marta?
Her mother watches her daughter transforming into a lich and cries. And when she cries, the tears flow as blood. The little moths are fluttering about her. They're not eyeballs at this point. They're just moth-looking things. Somewhat similar-looking moth things. She whispers something. It's indistinct. You see moths landing on her. You see like little worm larva things squiggling, and she masks it again with this like beautiful young milk pale woman, and then it's gone.
So it was the daughter that was turning into Pox Marta, or was it
No,
the mother?
The implication is that Pox Marta is Amarantha's mother.
Gotcha.
that makes sense. So it explains the lichdom. It seemed like a family forced upon her. Yeah, but we'll discuss it in game. So yeah, we have these visions. Yeah.
So we can say the Dorian Keldon and your party speak with each other a bit before you start decreeing things to the whole of the council.
Yeah. We probably actually didn't do this in front of them. We probably went to a side room, I would imagine. So we weren't like distracted.
The idea was that it was actually performed there at the center.
But then that's what we did. I wasn't sure how you were playing it.
The divination site was mental. It was psychic, though. It wasn't images out in the air.
So we have a muted conversation while everyone's muttering around the chamber because you can't keep people quiet when no one's directly talking.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Dorian, I think we know Pox Marta's identity.
I had always assumed Pox Marta to be the
lesser,
the thrall.
Yeah.
Amarantha.
But maybe it's the other way around. Perhaps Pox Marta was the first, and then she did what she did to herself on Amarantha, but perhaps she refined it. Perhaps she was meant to be. Maybe Pox Marta is a demi-lich, if that even exists as a thing. I don't understand how this all works.
I suspect Pox Marta to be a moniker, for Amarantha's mother was not named Pox Marta.
Well, you wouldn't want to call yourself by your own name. It would give your enemies information.
Yes. And I'm thinking now her mother's name was Fonagale. But I knew nothing of her mother being a lich.
No one did. That's a secret that I think they kept all this time.
The mother, you all saw as I did. It seemed the mother coerced or forced. It did not seem willing on the part of Amarantha.
No, not at all. I wonder if it's still resents, like, you don't get over that. That type of betrayal would be something that would affect you and completely shape your view for the rest of your undeath.
Perhaps we could use that to our advantage somehow.
Yeah, I think so.
Yes. Yes. And why Amarantha? What about her made her what she is? There's something more to her. Yes? Unless we're all deluded and we're under Pox Marta's thrall, under her blight, the mists of the mother of the Mer Queen.
That would be the greatest trick. That would be the greatest trick she ever pulled, making us believe that it was the Mer Queen all along.
That can't be true.
I don't think so.
I have studied this and divined this my entire life. I would have deduced something. It is beyond a doubt in my mind that the blight over our land is directly related to the Mer Queen, Amarantha, the daughter.
But perhaps she is a tool of the mother. Perhaps the mother needed the daughter to be this.
But what makes her this tool? What property, what characteristic is special about her?
Well, I think we need to find out about the bloodline of the mother and the daughter.
They are merfolk.
Yes.
Fae.
Who's the father?
Who is the father? Fae. Father. Fae.
Do we know who the father was? Because if the mother didn't possess it, but the child does, my natural logic tells me that there's something special with the child. The child only gets it from two places. Two lines, rather. It could be anyone in the bloodline.
Yes.
Was the father a god, a being, a titan? Perhaps.
Fey.
Plot twist: it's Noxiqual in the future.
Don't give away my
Whoa.
shit, man. The masked one had the sire Noxiqual to sire the Merqueen.
There is much mystery shrouding her father, though I have divined over the years that he was Fey.
He was Fey. Now that's interesting. I wonder if perhaps there's some unique Fey properties to her lichhood that allow her to manipulate the land and create these mists.
Yes.
But that
I
would be a
suspect
question
so.
we need a Fey to answer that.
I suspect so.
Do you have any contacts with the Fey?
There is some here. I will look into it later when I can meet with the more elusive and shy confidants.
Understood.
And the moths.
The moths. Well, we know that
The moths,
the
larvae.
Yeah, the worms. Did they remind me of the worms of the one that walks? Isis?
Make a. Oh my gosh, would this be Arcana or Religion?
Would just be I'm a damn
would
good
say
guesser.
Arcana.
All right, Arcana it is.
Yeah.
An unnatural 20.
Yes. Yes, they do. They
I've
remind
seen-
you of the worms of the worm that walks. They remind you of the worms you saw bleeding through the gate in Devil's Den.
All comes full circle. I'm gonna say to Dorian, wait, those worms, we've seen them before. I've seen them before. Recently even. Those are the worms of Caius, or Caius.
Caius.
Yes, the worm who walks. Perhaps he has planted a seed in Pox Marta, or the mother, whatever her name, Faye something that you said.
Monagale. All along, we all had suspected Orcus being the patron of the Merqueen, as he is most assuredly associated with liches and undeath, demon lord of undeath. And indeed, there are areas in Drakengrim where you can find relics and ruins of cults of Orcus.
Yes.
You might have seen some of this as you have adventured far.
He is the enemy of many, but I would say this never really fit him. He is too self-centered,
Yes.
is my understanding.
Yes, and the champions of Illis seem to have defeated or sealed off all of the areas of abyssal power associated with Orcus.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Assuming you all haven't cracked any of them loose and let the minions of Thanatos spilling into the world.
Oh, we haven't been, playing with artifacts of his at any point, no.
The one that we destroyed, perhaps?
Yes.
And the moths, have you seen such moths before?
Yes, actually, the moths reminded me of the ones we found in the caverns below Noxiqual. There was ancient caverns there that were these spiders kept the moths at bay. The spiders of it wasn't Illis, was it? No, it was
The children of the Weaver.
the Weaver, Sortiza, yes.
Mm-hmm.
They had been trapping the moths there, but they couldn't destroy them. They were just holding them at bay.
Mm-hmm. And what became of this? Children of the Weaver who held at bay the moths.
They
protect this domain to this day?
No, they are weakened. They lost many of their numbers recently when there was a great upheaval and the moths surged out onto the island. Some spiders still live, and they may be able to regrow and re-web the island to keep the moths trapped on the island. But the island has been lost since there are not enough spiders.
His eyes are
Covered.
growing wide as you're telling him the tale.
Mhm.
This should be a point of great concern of ours. Do you mean to bring this to the agenda here today?
I think we should focus on the Mer Queen, but this is something we can discuss later in more detail.
Very well. Well, we don't want everyone in a panic over things that are off and away from the mainland.
Well, the spiders, as I said, still exist. They are doing what they can to repopulate themselves. They seem to be immune to the moths, and their webs seem to be the only thing that can hold the moths without decaying.
Webs. There's much to think over here.
Mhm.
So, moving things forward, you all
Yeah.
relay some information that you have, and the council mulls over this. The dwarves are saying, we know more. We need to just take it straight to the castle, hit them before they've had time to prepare and organize their forces.
Or
Get
just
the
wanna
Mer
jump.
Queen. You might have to get out of her slumber, and you now have leverage against her because you know some traumatic relationship with her mother.
Mother.
But that is not
Hit
enough.
the bitches before they see it coming. Exploit what we have now before they can muster.
If we move now, everything that we have worked for could be lost in a single instant. The wisest course is to keep this information handy, but still move forward one step at a time, fighting our way, securing the land that we take from the forces of the Mer Queen. How can you fight if you are surrounded by her mists as soon as we reach her castle, and you are separated from each other in the realm of nightmares, where she can simply pluck and pick you apart as she wills?
Ah.
If
The
we are-
wards.
we risk.
The wards of the Emerald Mages will hold the undead at bay.
Have they?
Yes. Norgal's Rock has been untouched till now.
Yes, and suppose we slay their entire army, leaving only them and us, not knowing where or what to look for their phylacteries. They raise another army in a few years. The cycle repeats until we run out of our resources.
I am not against.
Kyger Cincatel, the Archmage of Abjuration, says, Dear Master Dwarf, Chieftain Mithrilian, the Emerald Mages are a wonder and a great boon to dwarvenkind, but their wards cannot encompass the vastness of your great army. A strategic and staged war, I believe, is the best plan that we have at the moment. And when the time is right, then our vanguard will infiltrate the water castle, where, as we all know, only themselves with their equipment and magic, and we here have the means to traverse a flooded castle and encounter the horrors within there. But only then.
There's
There's one.
1,000 cuts, but if the head can regrow the body, we must cut it off first.
Here's what I think on these matters. Right now, were we to go in, it would be like trying to smash a statue with a hammer, but we don't even know how strong or what material the statue is made of, much less where to strike it best, to get the best result. As we slowly pick apart piece by piece the structure, we may find a fault, a crack in the armor that we can exploit. And that may be the time when going for the weakness of the Merqueen may present itself. Right now, you don't hit an enemy where it's strongest. You don't attack the armor from the front, you go for the joints.
You attack a castle from its gate, not the towers or the walls.
Or with magic from above or other means.
Mhm. Well, there seems to be a general direction that the majority is going in here, that this should be a battle fought in stages. You all get a chance to look at some House Rodvin's war plan, their actual campaign that they've drawn up.
Yeah,
And I mean, that will take time to actually study the details of it. But in overview, it does have sound tactics to it. And they have, a siege on Rockness, then a siege on Wraithstone. Then they're suspecting there's another location that it's not on your map because no one has actually gone and scouted it out. But it's like the last stronghold or the last waypost before the water castle.
Yep.
And so that's laid out, and that seems to be the 70-80% of people seem to be on board with that, aside from some stubborn dwarves and the Vortex cult, who has been silently and patiently observing this whole time.
Why? Wait, they're the ones that love Amarantha, right?
No?
No, they're the psionicists.
Oh, them.
Psionists
Yeah.
/ divine. They're somewhere in there.
They worship Brailabin or whatever.
Well, Fainel Donan says that she is able to speak with an entity called Bralaban.
Yeah.
Who
lives among the stars.
Yeah, who's
a
a being who
collection of
dwells among the
spirits.
stars.
Yeah.
Some people think she communicates with an elder evil, a great old one, and they've exiled her from places. They've threatened to throw her in a dungeon. They've threatened to execute her. Other people believe that she's speaking to like an angel or a host of angels. Other people think she's speaking to like a god, like a lost, forgotten god. But she herself has actually never made a claim as to the categorizing or kind of entity that she's speaking to. She referred to it as like the knowledge, the collective, the souls.
She said it was a collective of spirits.
Yeah,
that's what she told us.
So they invite her to put in her thoughts on all of this. She takes a moment and like closes her eyes, and it's like this pause.
It's like the phylactery is the bean that he has in his pocket. Jeez, didn't you guys know it?
That would be ironical.
This entire situation is a gigantic mess. It's a catastrophe in the making. The nightmares of Dreckengrim are fueled by people's own fear more than anything. We don't need a war. We don't need to worry about, well, I'm going to go and muck around over here for a bit. And I'm going to go and fight over here for a bit. And let's study these nasty horrors over here. And let's go study these nasty horrors over here. And this terrible blight does this. What we need is a spiritual war, a spiritual revolution. A spiritual revolution, my brethren. The gods are returning. We need to reconnect with the divine. And then these forces will balance themselves out naturally. That sounds like a load of horse shit to me, says the dwarves.
They know. I understand your viewpoint on this based on everything I know of you and the entities that you speak for. You've long you've long espoused to the people that it is within their mind, their ability to shape their own reality, as I saw you travel across the land of Drekengrim. But such beliefs, they have not held up under test. I have tested your beliefs. I have sure other people have tested them as well. Why is it only you that seems to be able to make these abilities come forth? Perhaps it is because you have a patron, someone that gives you the power to enforce this upon reality.
Everything you say is true, and I am not going to argue anything you've said. You speak facts, and I am now prepared to declare that indeed I do follow the guidance of greater, higher powers. And they are named as follows: Morpheus the Dreamer, Illis the Lantern, Sortiza the Weaver, and the Raven Queen.
The collective of all of them is who graced you with your prophetic abilities.
I believe it were favored souls, those lost without a home to go to while the gods were dissipated.
Dead, for what we would call it.
But the divine is returning, and balance shall come. Trust in this. Do not live in fear, do not live in hatred. Go to your homes, watch after your families, take care of your cities, your farm fields, raise your temples, pray, meditate, connect with the divine. You can find it within. It is within all of us, as we all bear a spark of the divine inside. We must find this divine communion. We must embrace the love of our higher powers.
And if those higher powers were here to protect us, I might be inclined to give that some merit, but the Mer Queen and Pax Marta will not simply stop attacking me and my crew because we go back to our home and leave them alone. They have designs on Drekengrim. Their will is no less than the will of us, and if we ignore them, then they will be able to do whatever they want to these lands.
I think ignoring them is the best idea I could possibly think of. Do not fuel the nightmares of this realm by adding your fear into it, your anger.
I'm not afraid of them.
The greatest act of evil is doing nothing. For if we do nothing, they have won. By saying we just go home and praying, even I, who believe in Dionysus, knows that it will still take time. And if that time takes longer for them to return than for our enemies to win, then we have lost and done nothing. Would it not be better now to put up at least a defense against them, to give time for our gods to return completely?
Again, you speak the truth, Master Elf. And I commend you for putting in your word of courage and strength. I counsel you to take this strength and this courage and use it to defend your homes should you be attacked. Guard your families, your loved ones.
But divided, we are more weaker. We must unite against a common threat. United, we have greater strength. If we divide and spread out, we are weakened. They can overwhelm us one at a time. If we remain united, we have a better chance.
Dividing and weakening by going on the path of war?
No, we're
Drake,
not.
your logic, you are arguing logic but that is not the argument that she is using. If I may, I understand what you were saying. You counsel
This whole
the
council
patience and
is a
defense.
great representation of all of Dreckengrim, living in a state of terrible resistance. If we would let go of the resistance, open
Then we
our
would
hearts,
become
open
servants
our
of the
minds,
Merqueen.
and the divine would come. They are coming. All we have only to allow them, to accept them, to be ready for them.
Arlen will
Receive.
speak up. Arlen will speak up and say, I would prefer not to accept the divine or allow them to do anything. It is men who fight these wars, and it is men who will either fail or succeed.
Well spoken.
The
Guys,
gods shall
unfortunately,
return, and it is us who shall bring them, who shall usher in their new age. Their temples have been rebuilt by our hands.
Now, I forgot who said this, but Arlen will say this. Who was the person who said it is the age of mortals? Someone said that.
Dorian Keldon.
Dorian. All right. Arlen will say.
Yeah, it was the Archmage. Yeah.
Arlen will say, looking at the person who's been talking about like the spirits and stuff, say, as Dorian said, it is the age of mortals, and I think I quite agree with that.
Here's my problem, Thanel. In a root, it's a philosophical thing. And I understand that I'm not going to convince you, and you're not going to convince me. But I want this to be heard by everyone here. You counsel that our fate is in the hands of the gods, that they will take care of us. All we have to do is believe that everything is going to be all right and put our faith in them. If we simply wait, they will come back and they will take care of us as they promised to do. But that plan relies on external factors that we have no control over. I control my own fate. These people here control their own fate. Every single one of us, including you, control your own fate, even though you may have chosen to give up your choice by letting yourself be a conduit for the gods. And you think you have no choice. You are simply acting as they choose.
Arlen will also sort of back up Noxiqual and say, I once put my trust in the gods. It did not end very well. And then I'm going to sort of like gesture to like my like the scar on my face.
Fainel observes
guys, unfortunately, I gotta go.
Yeah, Drake,
I got
understand.
stuff I gotta do before I go to bed. I apologize.
Okay. Yeah, totally fine. So should we can everyone else go on for a little bit?
Yeah, I'm good for going.
Well, I got a
Go
little bit
through
more.
this?
I got to get
Yeah.
up at 4:30. So
I was about to say, like ours.
I'll see you
Okay.
guys on Discord, but I do
All
have
right.
to get going. I
I'll
got
catch
stuff
you
I have to
there,
get
and
done.
we'll fill you in.
All right, thanks.
All right.
Okay.
Later.
Arlen's getting to bash the gods, so I'm happy to stay.
All right.
Like,
so
you want to get in on this?
if you guys are okay, let's just go for a little bit more. I just want to
Just a
get to
little
a kind of a resolution point.
Yes.
And so if we can just go for a little more, cool.
Works for me.
yeah,
right,
not
so
too much
just-
longer.
All right,
Yeah.
not too much longer. No. So just one final thing for Arlen, because Fainel observed that, and you hear her voice in your head, but her voice has a multiplied effect, as though there are several people speaking at once of different timbres, and with a vast reverberation to it. And she says, "Let go of your pain, and you will be with your loved one again in paradise."
Oh, wow.
I wait for paradise.
So it was just inside your mind. It was just a telepathy thing, but it was a great reverberation, as though many voices spoke in unison.
I guess when that happens, I guess visually, Arlen will sort of like be taken aback a bit and just sort of look down and just sort of in thought.
Mm-hmm.
Just violated your mind, son.
Did Lykar have
Like
an opinion, a thought?
I agree with sitting idly by only aids the enemy. If we do nothing, then it continues as it is. And the dream fog stays, the nightmares continue.
What she's saying is the gods will come back and save us eventually. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, eventually Christmas will be here too. So
Exactly.
All right. So the overall direction, the majority of the council votes in favor of the strategic multi-stage war, largely based on the plans by House Rodvin of Sumnerfield. Though, of course, the details of this are going to be sorted out between them and the Stormbringers and the Silver Mages, and we can get into that next session. But we'll leave the High Council with that trajectory of things.
Mm-hmm.
The dwarves, they're not fully in agreement with it, but they're like stubbornly gonna go like, we're not gonna miss out on the fighting, damn it. So they're not just gonna abandon ship. So
they want to cut ahead to the chase. They want to like just skip all the work that we need to set up. They want to get the finished product before it's ready. So yeah, I get that.
So the dwarves and the humans and the Silver Citadel are more or less in accord. Seems like the Stormbringers are pretty well hinging on a few things, such as the decree over House Telvantis.
Yeah.
And the Vortex Cult cannot, in good conscience, participate. They are going to be heading next to Osterwarden, the Elven City in the Forest of the West.
They should swing by the Devil's Den. There's someone there that wants to see them.
That would be very interesting.
Yeah, they should.
All right, so there's going to be one final scene. Does anyone have anything that's pertinent before we wrap up the High Council scene?
No, I want to wrap up the session so NS can get some.
Yeah.
rest.
Okay, well, the final scene is actually very important for Lykar.
Exactly. Let's focus on that.
okay.
Lykar. The day has spent. It was an intense day, and you are resting in your personal chambers. And as you are beginning to nod off, again, there is the voice of the man, the mage. It's indistinct. It kind of seems to be coming through the haze, through the mist, as you've seen it before in your dreams. He shouts again, Telvantis! 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 His voice is echoing as though through a tunnel. Telvantis! Telvantis!
Who is there?
You directly respond to the voice, and it jolts you awake. There is an apparition in your room. A man you've seen before in dreams and visions and bits and pieces. And he is wearing a robe that reminds you of an archmage's robe. Avant, are you hearing me now?
I can hear you. Do I recognize the person at all?
He's kind of halfway coming through the wall, and he seems like he doesn't seem to be recognizing the room around him. He looks like he's lost. Like he can't even see you. Are you hearing me?
I can hear you. Who are you?
I would like you to make an Arcana check based on charisma as you directly are reaching out to this person using magical means.
Okay, cool. Because I have good charisma and good Arcana. And I rolled a 16 plus 23.
Excellent. Okay, that's enough. So you reach out to this person who seems to be searching and calling, and you respond and you say, "I'm here. I'm right here." And you kind of like lead him, and finally his eyes focus onto you, and he becomes solid. Oh, Talvantis, where am I? Is this the Silver Citadel?
So he's like a person now?
Yeah.
Okay. I said, these are my little quarters here in the Silver Citadel. Who are you?
I am Peter Lonagriff, Archmage of Chronomancy. I don't know how much time I have. What year is it?
Whatever year it is, I tell him what
Okay,
the
you tell
year
him
is.
the year.
Yeah.
I've been gone for so long. You see like part of his arm like starts to kind of like phase out, like there's only one way. I have to get back before she was transformed. I can't get it to work though. Can you help me?
Get what to work?
I can see her, but she's far off. I can't do it alone.
What do you need me to do?
I found a way to stop the Mer Queen before all this began. You're not gonna find her phylactery. It's too well hidden. No one's gonna find it.
What can I do to help?
Come with me, Talvantis. Through space, through time.
Go with the doctor. He's trying to help.
Do Doctor Who music.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
no one's ever said anything about an Archmage of Chronomancy.
yeah,
Because they
time
all
travel.
forgot.
Yeah.
He hasn't come to be yet. He's from the future.
The Archmage of Chronomancy. The Archmage of Chronomancy who?
I think I'll
What would Lykar do?
give it a shot.
And just like that. Excuse me.
You've seen this person before in dreams and visions, and he has manifested before you now. He holds his hand out, and he's like, touch these fingers here to mine.
Okay, so do the...
You touch his fingers, and your hand becomes like quicksilver, and it's the strangest and undescribable sensation, and it ripples through you, and you see like just everything in front of you does like a like wobbles, like all of reality just like wobbles in front of you, and you and the mage Peter Lonagriff step out of your room into the corridor, and when you do this, the corridor does an effect like echoing out through like endless iterations of itself, and you see like the same event playing out but in like multiple variations of different possibilities of reality. And when he talks, like he also like spreads out, and you feel yourself as well like multiplying into like an infinite number of yourself.
Cool.
And there's this
Like
stretching, there's a stretching sensation over your entire body, and then you're like flung. And he starts explaining things to you that honestly make no sense. You don't know if these are the ramblings of a madman or just some type of wizardry that makes no sense to you because you've never studied any of this. Imagine someone explaining a very highly complex and detailed system to you that you've never even heard of before. So he's throwing out jargon and words, and you're like, we have to stop at the 12th iteration or else the Tregarian force is going to bind our essence to the blah, blah, blah. And you're,
Star Trek.
It's wibbly wobbly timey wimey.
Yeah, I'll follow you.
So you're following him. It reminds you of a sensation of a teleportation spell, like a dimension door, that kind of feeling.
Surprised we don't
And-
see what's his face here.
Nope, you see nothing of Nyarlathotep. And he seems to be waiting. He goes into a very focused, like when someone's concentrating on a spell, very highly concentrating. And then at the certain moment, he starts like chants a spell. He chants the syllables. And then this like infinite iteration effect slows. And it's like, and you're seeing a slow passage of that same shaft, that great well, and one passes like, and it passes again, and like each pass, the merfolk girl with the purple hair in the water is in a different position, and she looks a little younger and a little younger until she's finally at that like young, like adolescent age where you've seen her before in that dream, and you and Peter are like coming through the wall, like literally like a ghost phasing through the wall, through space and matter. You look to what's behind you, and there's just mists, the same mist you've heard before. You can hear shrieks of specters in it. You've seen that nightmare realm before, and you look back and you're seeing this tunnel, and he's reaching out for her. Amarantha. And it seems like she can almost hear him. She's doing this like, is somebody there? But you're with him this time. What do you do?
Well, this is a kind of strange sensation for me. This is before she's
a lich. She's
before she drinks the stuff.
Yeah, she's like a young princess, mermaid princess, basically, with some fey blood in her. Do you help Peter Fonegrin and try to like pull her out of the past?
I'll try and get her.
Kill her with a spell, so she's dead and she never even becomes the Mer Queen.
Wow, that's a big decision to make.
Yeah,
Do you
It's
kill?
all yours.
Yeah. Do you kill the baby dictator
I think.
who hasn't done anything wrong?
Yeah, but the problem is the mom is still a lich, and it just evil will beget evil. I will call out to her and try and focus on her.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Make an Arcana check, regular intelligence Arcana, as you attempt to aid Peter Fonegrin.
19.
I'm sorry, Lonagriff. I have a lot of NPC names here.
Yeah,
tonight.
I don't know how you remember half the guys. So that's going to be 19 plus 3, 19, 20, 22.
Okay, that's enough. Here we go. You see another Peter Lonagriff, and you and all your party like asleep in that like nightmare dream the first time you had it, and they're like just afar away from you, and like he fails, and you see him fade away, and you see your party get pulled into this nightmare battle. But it's like a different version of you from a different point in time. Natural 13. He's got it. You both grab hold of Amarantha's hands. She gasps, and you pull her out of the well into the mists, back into a corridor of travel through space and time.
Cool.
And we'll end there.
God
Just
damn,
to
what
let
a
you know,
cliffhanger.
you almost got stuck indefinitely between time. Like that was almost the total end of Lykar there.
Well, luckily I rolled a 19.
Okay, so interesting moment to end on.
Yeah, what a cliffhanger.
Yeah.
You're gonna make all these people wait. But hey, I mean, we're on lockdown potentially, so you know.
Yeah.
Okay, well, this will be very interesting next session. I should award some milestones to Lykar.
Yeah, I'll say. Get him to like level 12 at least.
That's a lot of milestones.
Let's see.
That'd be 8.
Yeah,
You might not be getting any more for a while.
Wouldn't be 8. I will give Lykar 4 milestones.
Arlen would like a single milestone to level up.
Everyone else will get 1 milestone.
Victory is mine.
Really? I'm
Joe.
2 milestones. Damn you, Esper.
We'll tell Vince on Discord. Okay, so we should end things there. Woo! All right, thanks everyone for sticking around for like an extra special long session.
Yeah.
We might no longer have Dennis in the group due to work schedule complications.
Yeah.
But we'll see what the future holds. Thank you all. Thank you guys for playing. Thank you everyone for watching, either live or later on. And we'll see you next time in the Land of Dreams and Nightmares.
Have a great night.
Goodbye,
Good
everybody.
night, everyone. Take care.